Mic check. Holy shit. It's Monday. And whoa. It's Monday. What a weird time to be alive. I got to be honest with you. This is the most difficulty I've ever had putting together a show outline. Like I just want to sit and watch. I feel maybe unprepared for this moment. Underprepared. I don't know. I don't even know. Like I'm not 100% sure how to react in these moments. I'm watching friends of mine, people that I've met through this job in LA, out there just like amongst the rioters or riots. I guess not rioters. I don't know. Anybody ever think? I've just been thinking about it all morning. Like, remember when this shit didn't used to happen? Remember before Trump entered politics when shit was just normal? And like we're still in a scenario where there's like millions of Americans who think that like this isn't Trump. Look, some of them are rioters. I'm not going to call this peaceful protest. I'm sorry for some people. I think that there are people on the left that are like, it's not all protesters. It's rioters too. Let's be honest about it. If we're going to have the discussion, we've got to be honest about it too. There's riots. There's peaceful protest. There's not so peaceful protest. There's and I think that that's the point, right? And I don't think we should fall into that same trap. It's what Trump wants to do. It's the chaos that he wants to bring, and he's going to use the rioters and the violent protesters to activate the military. It's exactly what he wants, and I think it's incumbent on us to at least be honest about it. At least say like, yeah, some of the people are violent. But let's just be honest about it. Like, what good is it going to do if we run around and just say peaceful protest? No, it's not. It's not. There's a mostly peaceful, sure, but it's violent, and I think we have to grapple with that. I'll get to that in a little bit. It's just weird. I want to laugh at a couple of things first. First, I want to shout out to this TikToker. Who is this? This is America is the Bad Place, which is ironic for today. Here's Charlie Kirk. This video was stitched.
You know that 45% of liberals have poor mental health when 51% of conservatives have excellent mental health?
Hey, Charlie, the math is not mathing, my friend. 45% of liberals have poor mental health, meaning 55% of liberals have good mental health. 51% of conservatives have good mental health, meaning 49% of conservatives have poor mental health, meaning more liberals have good mental health than conservatives, you fuckwit.
I've never seen that account before. It's good to see Charlie Kirk getting dunked on early in the morning. Let's jump over here. I saw this. This is an old video, but this just made me like. One of the things that I think is like a theme here is the way that we are educated, the way that we are given information, where that narrative comes from, determines a lot of like how dumb we might sound. Here's our favorite guy, Joe Rogan, sounding dumb.
What's that fucking dude's name? The chubby dude dressed up like the devil and everybody got mad. He's a singer. Steph Smith. Yeah. He said he wanted to be a fisher them.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to be a fisher them. I'd be any type of fisher them.
Not a fisherman, fisher her, fisher she. A fisher them.
One thing I've noticed about Joe Rogan that I hate about him now is how often he's fake laughing. This is a miserable person. Joe Rogan is what happens when you get involved in MAGA politics. You become miserable, you become hateful, and you wind up fake laughing about shit like this.
The fisher them. The they them thing that's the best evidence you need that people are.
See how quick he went from laughing to anger about trans people?
Their fucking minds. You can't be plural, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, they, them's not plural, you fucking idiot. Right? If you were telling a story about your friend, you'd say they went to the theme park, then they came home. It's not plural. It's a misunderstanding of how pronouns work by the right. And the reason I'm showing some of this stuff is, one, I want to laugh at them, but two, like, it just shows how programmable people are with the media that they consume, and how they're going to consume the media this weekend, and they're going to be like, oh, this is all about illegal immigration. It's about borders. It's about fentanyl somehow. I'll show you some clips of I don't know if we would call them like right-wing adjacent creators, people like Joe Rogan. But like I said, we'll get into that. Still, what is today? Today is what is the date today? The 9th, Monday, June 9th. We still don't have any trade deals done. And even Fox News is like, we've had it with no announcements. Like, are we going to get an announcement on a trade deal at any point? All these trade deals that Trump ripped up so he would renegotiate it. We're going to get announcements on those. Fox is still waiting.
Who goes first, if anyone, as of today?
You mean who goes first in terms of countries?
In a new deal, correct.
Yeah, so there's a number of deals in the works with a number of our trading partners, particularly in Asia and in Europe as well. And I expect that these deals to come out in a flurry as we get closer to the deadline.
I don't think so, Aaron. I think we still have wars going. It seems like the 24-hour thing didn't work.
Some might come out very soon, but I expect there to be a flurry as we get closer to the deadline because of the process in which these deals are proceeding, where there's steps that everyone is taking to move the deal forward. And those steps are designed to yield success around the time of the deadline.
Got it. So
Jen, we just got a warning on TikTok for fake engagement. Whatever the hell that means. If you maybe want to reach out to our TikTok person, I don't know.
I'm just, I mean, to interrupt, but every time we do these segments, I'm just trying to find the name of a country who will be first in line. Can we say today which country that will be?
I cannot.
No,
who goes first?
No, we can't. There's just never going to be an answer to that. We got a mineral deal. I think, in principle, if you're talking about Ukraine. I don't think that deal is done, but I think that also has very little to do with trade. I don't know. I haven't seen any completed deals. I was a little busy this weekend watching Trump fake an insurrection. This tweet, by the way, for the background today, this is a real tweet from Cash that said, hit a cop, you're going to jail. Doesn't matter where you came from, how you got here, what movement speaks to you. If the local police force won't back our men and women on the thin blue line, we at the FBI will. And, of course, these are January 6th protesters. I did see that berserker that Trump appears to have a catheter in. I did see that. Which, whatever. But stop telling us that he's like the picture of health. I did see, though, that he had a catheter in. And he's been wearing a diaper forever. Nobody should be surprised by that. It is one of the weird things about, like, MAGA is how they project everything onto everybody else. Like, for 4 years, we had to hear from MAGA that Joe Biden shits his pants. No evidence of that. Trump legitimately shits his pants all the time. He wears a diaper. You can see the diaper in his pants. It's amazing what MAGA will, like, project onto somebody else and then refuse to address. All right. Our TikTok live is throttled. If you're on TikTok right now, just know there are other places you can watch this show, and within the next probably 10 to 20 minutes, TikTok's just going to shut our whole live down. So whatever. And this will help too. You can see above me there are some usernames there next to logos, and we are crowdfunded here. So if you can help us with the crowdfunding, I'll read damn near anything you write, as well as the super chats that are super. God, I hate the TikTok language. I hate how much they restrict what we're allowed to say. Okay, I want to talk about on Friday we were talking about the New York mayoral race. I just want to show a couple more clips from there. This is Mamdani right here. And he is now being hammered by everybody else in the race for not bending the knee to Israel and not saying, I'm going to go to Israel, I'm going to visit Israel. Israel has the right to have their own state. And it appears that the message has been got by all the people he's running against. It appears AIPAC is generating the messaging, and here you'll see another attempt to make Mamdani look bad. I think it makes him look good. I think all of these people being paid by Israel, all you need to know is that they're choosing money over what their constituents want, because every time they come after him, he seems to get more popular.
A big chunk of Jews feeling unsafe.
TikTok is like speaking in Mormon. The heck? Yeah.
Is the mobs that have been incited on our college campuses and in our streets. There is someone on this stage with me who has been a primary inciter of these mobs over his entire life, who won't visit Israel, who refuses to acknowledge Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state, who has accused Israel of genocide, who is a leader of the movement to divest from Israel, and I think that needs to be made clear.
Why? So proud of that. He's not even, like, he doesn't even have the energy for this. I just think it needs to be made clear that he wants to divest from Israel. Who cares? Can you imagine if this was just like Sweden? What other country would we even have this discussion about? No other country, unless you're getting a lot of money from AIPAC.
I think that needs to be made clear.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to respond. I think of the words of Noy Katzman, who lost his brother on October 7th, who said,
thanks, Brett. Love to you too, brother.
"We must never give up on the conviction that all life, Israeli and Palestinian, Jewish and Arab, is equally precious. We must never lose hope of a brighter, peaceful future." The language that I have used, that Mr. Tilson is critiquing me for, is language that has also been echoed by Israeli historians on that very topic. Historians like Amos Goldberg and Daniel Blattman. The language that I have used has been echoed by the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Olmert, who recently said just a few weeks ago, "What we are doing in Gaza is a war of devastation, limitless, indiscriminate, cruel, and criminal killing of civilians." And I provide these citations because I can accept disagreement, absolutely. What has troubled me, however, is in Mr. Tilson's remarks about me, that disagreement has sometimes broached into a new area, one where the language is less of humanity, more of someone is at the gates, almost painting me as if I am an animal. And that is a place that I think we then leave this same area of shared humanity that allows for disagreement but understands the place of each and every one of us in this same city, fighting for the same thing, a city of dignity for each and every person.
Thank you.
It just feels like in America right now that it just doesn't feel like any of us are in charge, or that there is a say. It feels an awful lot like whoever has the money has the say. And I don't think we're alone in this feeling. I think MAGA's feeling the same way. This must be for any MAGA that's like free thinking. This must be a confusing time. It seems to be that like we're writing our foreign policy when it comes to like student visas. Like we're writing our foreign policy as if we are Israel. And it seems that we're writing our immigration policy as if we are white nationalists. And for the MAGA the MAGA that exists who don't consider themselves Zionists or white nationalists, this must be a confusing time for you. For us, it's heart-wrenching. For us, it's heartbreaking. I don't like that I'm turning on Twitter or the news or any social media, and I'm just seeing our own military being used against us. I don't like that every time I see Marco Rubio speak, I'm like, is this Israel's ambassador to the United States? It must be a really fucking confusing time for you guys. I know what you voted for. You told us what you voted for. Less government, right? Less government, less taxes, a stronger border policies. We haven't done. We changed the border? No, we didn't change the border. We changed the border policies? No, we didn't change the border policies. Are you going to pay less in taxes? No. Are we going to knock down the debt? Oh, I'm tired of all these wars. We're not the world's police. Well, fuck, we sure seem like it. It sure seems like the party that was like, we don't want to police the whole world. That's all you guys want to do is police the whole world. Police the cities, police other countries. Everything but the stuff that you were promised you were going to get. Everything, yeah, better economy, all these things that you were promised. It's got to be confusing for you. I know that up here you guys can't say it. Up here you got to remain strong, and this is what happens when your entire political ideology is a guy. What do you believe in? Trump! And that's it. You just believe in Trump. This is what happens. It gets really fucking confusing. And you keep having to wake up. And fortunately for us, at least you guys are learning new things. At least you're finding out about the National Guard. You may be finding out about certain immigration policies. You're finding out how easy it might be for a corrupt person to completely take over our country if they have enough loyalty. That's where we're at right now. Streamers showed how much gas was in downtown LA last night. It was $7.95 a gallon there. Wow. Is that real? I was just in LA and I paid it was nowhere near that. Gas prices in LA. Does that include their tax, or is that added on after? I mean, the current average price in LA is $4.70. So I don't know. Oh, here it is. The station is on Alameda de las Pulgas in Menlo Park, a city in the Bay Area. That's from April 23rd.
Thanks for the sub.
I'm seeing this it's LA Times. This is from March 9th, 2022. I don't know. I'm not seeing that. I'm not sure which streamer you're talking about. It doesn't look like it's that. All right. Anyways, keep going on here. This is, and here's where it gets confusing, because I think what some of you have forgotten is that conservatism is just like one big state of hysteria. It's one big psyop designed to keep you afraid, designed to keep you confused. And this is the Megyn Kelly show. Let me just first of all, I don't know who these women are. This one specifically tends to think that we react to what she said. Anybody know who this is? The dark hair here. Does anybody know who this person is? Because she seems to think that we all know who she is. I have no idea. I cover media for a living. I have no idea who this is. This on the Megyn Kelly show, and you're going to hear the main two ideas of the show today. One, the conflict in Israel and Palestine, and then two, obviously what's happening in LA. And you see that when you're in this place of privilege where you're not experiencing that, and I'll admit I'm also experiencing that same place of privilege. All you're left with is fear mongering, and this is what they're doing. And listen to Megyn Kelly. It's really, really hard for me to have Republicans be like, yeah, we're not racist, we're not phobic of anything. This sounds like fear mongering phobia bullshit to me.
New York City experienced 9/11, and now we have this DSA candidate who's panning to the camera and saying, I'm a progressive Muslim immigrant. His whole provenance is very sketchy. He's launched.
Yeah, you know who didn't do 9/11? Progressive Muslim immigrants. This is just Islamophobia. This is just the same shit. This is 9/11 scare tactics. We can't vote for this man who's running for mayor because he's Muslim. Those were not progressives. The jihadists, those aren't progressive Muslims. If you're going to use progressive it's conservative, deeply conservative. Those that they live by the old teachings. They by definition those would be conservatives. But that's what we're going with. They're just trying to scare their audience with this idea that, hey, 9/11 happened in 2001, and now here we are with somebody who's Muslim running for office. No pushback. I don't know who this is, and no pushback from Megyn Kelly.
His whole provenance is very sketchy. He's launched this ostensibly grassroots campaign with his funding that he gets as a secret intelligence asset, I'm sure. His
grassroots campaign. See how that quickly? It's a grassroots campaign. We're not taking corporate donations. So what does she immediately, because he's Muslim, so he's an asset. He's actually getting his money from foreign entities. And this, whoever the fuck this is laughing. Megyn Kelly's laughing while they drink martinis. Just baseless accusation. Based on what? Islamophobia. Based on fear of somebody different. And this is what right-wing ideology is now. It's just smear, smear, smear. No matter what anybody says they believe, no matter what anybody advocates for, just call them a radical leftist communist. And now I guess we're adding Muslim into this. Now it's progressive Muslims.
Parents, he only became a citizen, as you mentioned, in 2018. Didn't seem to care much about citizenship up until then. His parents.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody? I've seen some Republicans in here. Daisha and Anna. Who are they? Who's Daisha and Anna? Why should I know who they are? Let's look it up. Daisha. Did I say that right, or is it Dasha? Oh, they literally host a podcast called The Red Scare. Daisha was born in Belarus, immigrated to the United States at a young age. She's an actress. She became known as Sailor Socialism. And then Anna is born in Moscow. It's ironic that they're talking about somebody being foreign born. And because they're foreign born, they have allegiances to their foreign countries. So we got Belarus and Russia here. All right. I don't know who they are.
Are like these kind of global citizen types. His mother is it's a female filmmaker, Friday. She's a famous filmmaker. His father is
both in film. What are we doing here? What are we smearing him with? You guys both work in film? Thank you for having me look them up.
A academic who has like cushy sinecures at Columbia and the University of Uganda.
Naturally,
his specialty is
naturally. What? Naturally, he studies African studies naturally. What does that mean? You know what I mean? Like they're not even good at this. It's just like everybody in this room, we're all racist. You know what we mean. He studies African studies. Yeah, naturally. What? What do you mean naturally? Just hear that. What do we mean? And then you'll hear Megyn Kelly go, exactly, or something like that, or naturally.
Cushy sinecures at Columbia and the University of Uganda.
Naturally.
His specialty is Africana studies and colonialism.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Of course it is. What is this Megyn Kelly's podcast called? White Power with Megyn Kelly? Is that what this is called? Those aren't even microaggressions. These are just like, if you say Africa, I get mad.
I think, their attitude, as my friend Ina Stepman pointed out was that
I love her.
Citizenship is kind of a minor administrative matter, a trifle. And that's kind of the attitude that he held until recently, as she says, up until the point that he decided he wanted a position of power in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Does he have a chance? I haven't followed the polls closely.
Well, he has a chance because I've hated on him so much that the leftists are going to come out in droves. So if he wins, my bad.
No, we don't know who the fuck you are. No clue. You would be. I think if we cast you, you'd make a great witch. How big is the Red Scare podcast? I've never even heard of this podcast. Listener downloads. How many downloads do they get? Is this big? It's just a bunch of like incel men in here. Those are women that are talking about racism, so we love them. I don't know. I don't even know. 20,000 members. That's pretty good. On Patreon. I don't know. I don't know how big. I've never heard of them in my life.
No, he's polling. AOC endorsed him. Yes, that's scary. It's reason enough to vote against him.
Yeah. AOC endorsed him. That's reason enough. What the fuck are you guys so afraid of AOC for? Can anybody tell me? She cares too much about the environment. Oh no. Oh no, not the environment. She wants universal health care. Oh, the humanity. How could we deal with somebody like AOC? Why are you guys afraid of AOC? Yeah, we know why, really. That's a good point, because she's smart. Yeah. What's the problem with AOC? Thank you, Steve. Sending you a gift on your birthday. Happy birthday, Steve. I hope it's wonderful. Charles said, scary times we're living in. Love you, brother. Thank you. I saw yesterday, I messaged him. Let me see if he got back to me. Mason, who was on that episode of Jubilee with me. I think he streamed for like 8 hours yesterday down in LA. It is scary times. I'm proud of the LA content creators who were out there. I saw Hassan out there get hit with like a flashbang, which was wild. So proud of them. We Know Nothing said there's famous single stations in Los Angeles. It's literally famous for being overpriced. Only people who don't know where they are and need gas now use it. These people are so dumb. Oh, okay. That's what the gas station was. All right, that sounds more right. This is crazy. This is from Drop Site News. If you're following the conflict in Israel, highly recommend Drop Site News. This is Save the Children. I'm trying to remember her name. CEO Janti Soropito. She's the CEO of Save the Children. I think that's the total name of it. Anyways, here's what Israel's doing now.
Back to face the nation.
Thank you, Margaret.
So there are 1 million children in Gaza in desperate need. The UN says the 11-week Israeli blockade has caused the rate of young children suffering from acute malnutrition to triple. What are you able to get in to help?
So since March 2nd, Save the Children has been able to get nothing in whatsoever.
Even though the blockade's over?
Even though the blockade is formally over, we haven't been able to get any of the 50 trucks that we have around Gaza on the border ready to go in. We haven't been able to get anything in.
Why?
So our staff are operating currently still with what we have. We have dwindling stocks, medical supplies, therapeutic malnutrition treatment for children, very young children. We're still working where we can and delivering goods while we can, but these stocks are dwindling fast.
What's the choke point? Why can't your trucks get in?
We haven't gotten any authorization to get them in.
From the Israeli authorities?
Yes.
Is the U.S. government helping at all?
I think there's an effort. I think there's a recognition that the humanitarian situation as it is completely untenable, that we're looking at mass starvation of innocent civilians and above all very young children, as you said. So there's attempts being made.
I'll have an update here in a second on Greta Thunberg. Or Thunberg.
We think that those attempts currently are completely ineffective and inadequate.
The director of Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza told CBS this morning that only a few hours remain before the generators in the hospital shut down because they don't have enough fuel to keep them going. What are your medical workers seeing on the ground? What happens if a hospital like that can't function?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. It's completely abhorrent. We're hearing stories from colleagues in Gaza that are talking about children who have to undergo surgery and then they wake up during the surgery because there's not enough anesthetics. So that is what's happening. That is what it looks like.
That is horrific.
It is.
The UN office that oversees these efforts have warned as well that kids are leading households because their parents are gone.
That's right. There's thousands and thousands of children who've lost one or more parents, lost their immediate family. So yes, we'll have kids, young kids, taking care of their younger siblings, trying to survive.
What does that do to a society?
It's unbelievable what's happening.
Virtue signaling? What the fuck are you talking about? Virtue signaling? The Israelis are denying aid. Are you listening? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened to you guys. I honestly don't. Like, what the fuck happened to the GOP? You bring in Trump and then you all turn into like dog shit human beings? Men, women, children dying, starving to death, don't have medicine, don't have anesthesia, don't have clean bandages. They're just dying, just starving to death, dying in agony. And the GOP is like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, dude, that's right. We love Israel. What the fuck happened to you people? Like, were you hiding this? Was this who you were all along? To give you the benefit of the doubt, I just have to say, like, you made Donald Trump your entire personality, and so now you have to follow it because you never knew any of this stuff. You don't care about any of this stuff. It's just about Trump for you. So no matter what happens, you're just going to come out and you're going to be like, cry more. This is why you lost. All right. This is why we lost, because there's so many people like you. They just show up cruel every day. What the fuck happened to you people? What the fuck is going on? So what went so poorly during the last 4 years that you're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're done with humanity now. Joe Biden was so bad that we're just going to like let people die now. In fact, if we can help them, we won't. We'll starve them to death. You know who's really fucking us up? All these illegal immigrants who are just out here at their job site doing work. Yeah, let's get rid of them. Let's go and let's rip families apart because of a misdemeanor. Because why? Because Joe Biden beat Donald Trump? What was so fucking bad in the last 4 years? What was so bad that the retribution is like death? Ripping families apart, riots, our military turning against American citizens, and you guys out there just like bootlicking this shit. Oh, fuck yeah, I love that. Like you sit around and beat off to violence. What the fuck happened to you? How did you live in America, you little bitches? You know how fucking easy it is to live in America? It's really fucking easy. I'm sorry, you couldn't get laid? Is that the problem here? What was so bad that you just lost all sense of humanity and became this inhumane? How the fuck do you watch a video about children starving and you're like, yeah, just blame it on Hamas? No. Take care of starving children. Why do you think that like whatever you believe about the conflict between Israel and Hamas, like innocent children should die? They should just be starved to death, missing limbs. Should be in the middle of the night, be woken up by buildings around them being bombed, by their buildings shaking, by the roofs collapsing, all because Joe Biden beat Trump. It's fucking sick. It's fucking sick. I can't believe when I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm just watching Republican after Republican bootlick violence. Like, yeah, fuck them. Fuck those protesters. Don't use rubber bullets. Use the real ones. They have a different opinion than I do about immigrants. Fuck them. You guys have become sick.
To this generation of 2 million people in Gaza. You know, the trauma is hard to overestimate. We're hearing mothers tell us that now their children are essentially waiting their turn to die.
So what do we do? Naturally, we get mad at Greta Thunberg, who had the fucking audacity as a minor. I don't know how old she was when she came to prominence. I want to say it was like 14 or 15. Now we hate Greta Thunberg because she said that corporations care more about their dollar than they care about the health of the people around them. That corporations care more about making money than they do about preserving our earth. And you're like, oh, what a bitch. She was a kid. Remember that? She was a kid. And you guys go after her. Jesse Waters goes after her all the fucking time. Because she said what every one of us here, I don't care where your political affiliation is, every one of us knows corporations choose the dollar over everything else. Everything. They never do the right thing. They always choose profit over people. But why? Because your side of the aisle is so owned by like oil that you guys, I don't even understand you guys. Yeah, dude, I don't really like clean energy because oil. I fucking love oil. It's so cool. Why do you care about oil? Why do you care at all where our energy comes from? And why wouldn't you want cleaner energy? Because you're captured. Politics has become your identity, not your ideology. It's your identity. So somehow, like only in America too, only in America do we have a bunch of redneck dumb fucks who are like, yeah, dude, we gotta have oil. If your car takes off and it doesn't leave a plume of smoke, you're a bitch. Like, how did that happen? You guys got brainwashed into thinking like gasoline cars are cool. That's the true sign of an American. That's the true sign of freedom. As if you have to stop and spend $80 to fill up your tank. That's freedom. Plug it in. You're going to plug in a car like a girl? Now we got Greta Thunberg, who just, oh, by the way, practices what she preaches. Hops on a boat full of humanitarian aid to get to the Palestinians. None of these people are dangerous. We know who's on this manifest. None of them are dangerous. As of the start, well, maybe an hour ago, my understanding is this boat is still out in the ocean. They're still not allowing them to port. And all they're doing is bringing food to starving people. And because conservatives don't like her because she had the audacity to call out corporations, and Israel doesn't like her because they want to starve children to death, and Zionists don't like her because she wants to feed those starving children, they're sitting out here in a boat. They're boarded. They bring a boat full of aid, and they get boarded by armed IDF, and they're still sitting in the ocean while people are starving. Here's the video.
To go, phone you to go, please. Don't sit in the water. Go in the water. Only from Chelsea. Take this. You're taking everything down. Guys, anything that is sensitive needs to go down. That one is another phone there. You pay. Yeah, this phone is Francesca Bonnet. Signal was gone. We have no signal. Don't sign. Mike, Romeo, Alpha, Hotel.
Yeah, how dare they, right? How dare they bring aid? Hey, shut the fuck up about Sweden. Who is that telling me to like shut the fuck up about Sweden? When Sweden is when you have a genocide in Sweden, we'll talk about Sweden. Get your racist ass out of here with Sweden. Sweden is burning. You don't give a fuck about Sweden. You saw a video on the internet and you're just as like Islamophobic as everybody else, and so you're trying to change it to Sweden. Anybody who talks about Sweden today gets muted for the live. Hey, Jen. I assume that's you, Jen? Jen? No? All right. I was hearing some. Did you guys hear that? It sounded like somebody was trying to break it. Yeah, I am. Yeah, look, I am triggered. I don't know why you guys think it's a problem that I'm triggered. Like, I get emotional every day. It's what I do. I don't give a fuck. Like, you're watching these riots. You're watching what happens here, and you want to talk about Sweden. Enjoy it. Enjoy your band. Like, have fun with that. Sweden, you could just anybody who types in Sweden, just get rid of them. That's fine. But we're not talking about Sweden today. All right. Moving on here. Want to talk about Trump's travel ban, which doesn't seem to make any sense. Remember last week with Trump, he had the German chancellor, and he put up announced that there was like 12 different countries he was banning travel from, and he's like, look what happened in Colorado, and so because of this event that happened in Colorado, now I have to ban travel from all of these countries, except for the country where the guy was from. He was from Egypt, except for some reason not. You know why it's Egypt, by the way? Money. That's why it's not Egypt.
On your new travel ban, why now? And if the Boulder attack was part of your reasoning, why not include Egypt on that list where the suspect is from?
Well, because Egypt has been a country that we deal with very closely. They have things under control. The countries that we have don't have things under control. And why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out.
Who? When are they going to tell us who these people are, by the way? When are they going to start like giving us a list of people that Biden let in? Just let in from all these other countries. When are we getting that list?
Out one by one, and we're not stopping until we get them out. We have thousands of murderers. I even hate to say this in front of the chancellor. Of course, you have a little problem, too, with some of the people that were allowed into your country. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It shouldn't have happened. I told her it shouldn't have happened, what she did. But you have your own difficulty with that, and we do. And
did you hear what he said? He's like, yeah, it's very small. How come it's always a big issue with immigrants if they're brown, isn't it? We don't have a problem with immigration in this country. It's not a fucking problem. We don't have mass violence. We're at historic lows for violent crime. If you're buying into this bullshit, I think it says a lot more about you than it says about our country. It's largely peaceful here. Historic lows for violent crime. The reason that you're seeing this outrage with these ICE raids is because people recognize that it's not a problem, right? In fact, the problem is Americans taking advantage of immigrants. That's the main problem that we have here. They should be paid better. They should get benefits. They should pay tax. They should get amnesty. If you're here and you're working and you're not committing crimes, you should be welcome to stay, and you should get a work visa, and you should pay into taxes, and then your kids should go to school, and you should pay into Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security. Why not? Why not have more people pay into it? But this idea that there's like violent crime because they show you a video of somebody who's violently a criminal, you're just a fucking idiot. Like, honestly, if you're in here today talking about violent crime, you're just fucking stupid. You're just watching videos. You're not looking at data. You have no clue. You're too dumb and too lazy to go look into it yourself, because if you did, you would find out that the violent crime isn't being committed by illegal immigration. In fact, most of the heinous crime that you guys love to talk about, you bring up children when it comes to like trafficking. Yeah, that's white Christian pastors. That's who's abusing your children. Overwhelmingly. But every fucking day you wake up with a hard-on and say Lake and Riley so that you can go out and be racist. It's devastating that this is our country. It really is. It's fucking devastating because it's not reality. We're living in two totally different realities, but mine is shaped by data and yours is shaped by some shit your uncle shared on Facebook that you then applied to a group of people as a whole. And that's why we're at where we're at now. It's because none of you guys I don't know if you can't read or if you just don't read. But we're at historic lows for violent crime while this bitch and all of you bitches every day show up and you're like, guys, crime is out of control. No, it's not. It's just not. He's just racist. Stephen Miller is just racist. And a lot of you might just be racist. So you're willing to believe a narrative that doesn't have the data to back it up. And if you're thinking to yourself, I'm not racist, it just is what it is, go look at it. I'll show you. We're going to show this every day. Like, look at violent crime by year. I was born in 1985. I don't know when you guys were born. Whenever you were born, we are less violent now than we were when you were born. This is violent crime since 1990. It's just precipitously dropping. We're safer now than when I was 5 years old. We're safer now than when I was 10 years old. We're safer now than when I was 15, 20, 25, 30. This is the safest we've ever been. And they're telling you, yeah, it's because we changed how the FBI reports it. That's also wrong. That's also wrong. See, this is the thing. Like, you guys are you can't fathom that your government is lying to you because you saw the video. So then when we show you the data, you just say the data is lying. Why? Because you've already decided internally that like immigrants are a problem, specifically brown immigrants, Muslim immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, Venezuelan immigrants. That's the problem. You've already decided that because you saw the video. So then when the data conflicts with that, you don't fucking care. And it doesn't seem to bother any of you that nobody that works for this administration also has an answer for this. They tell you the same thing. Oh, yeah, well, they say violent crime is down, but it's a trick. They're just tricking you. Really, it's way up. And so you just go along with it. This is what you said for a long time, and this is a lie, by the way. This idea that calling Trump Hitler and calling you guys fascists is why we lost, I've looked for that data. Did you know in exit polling, that doesn't even show up? It doesn't show up. It doesn't seem like it really had anything to do with the election, is calling you guys fascists. But you are, aren't you? You are a little fascy, aren't you? You're willing to just let the government seize total control. You're cool with a police state. You're cool with boots on the ground. You're cool with deporting American citizens or legal residents on accident because, oh, well, we got to take care of this massive problem. How come they keep raiding workplaces? If these people are here and they're committing crimes and they're leeching off the system, then why the fuck do you keep raiding workplaces? Make that make sense? Yeah, these guys are just here. Well, I'm tired of my taxpayer money's going towards them. All right, then why are you raiding workplaces? If none of them are working and your taxpayer money's going towards them, why do you keep showing up at workplaces? We don't like illegal immigration, we like legal immigration. So where are you showing up? Oh, we're going to courthouses. While people who have an expired visa, who have been waiting for court dates, sometimes years for court dates because our system is so backed up, those people willfully come to the courthouse in order to do it the right way. And they go into court and they make plans with the judge and they come out and you arrest them. We like legal immigration. Apparently not. And most of these people, by the way, most of the people that you're deporting didn't come here illegally. They came here legally and their visa expired. And they didn't go to court either because the courts were backed up or because they just didn't go to court. But you're all told this lie every day. Well, the first thing they did is they came to this country illegally. 90% of the people in this country who are here illegally came here legally. Illegal immigration is not a big fucking problem. It's not. It's overstays. It's a backed up court system. But everything you guys tell us that you actually can't, we're not racist. We're not racist. We want immigration done the right way. Okay, well, these people are at court doing it the right way and you're deporting them. We're not racist at all, but we just don't like illegal immigration, deporting almost exclusively brown people. Despite the fact that overstays, like there's tons of people here that are on overstayed visa, white people. How come there's no videos of that? Right? I love America because of our freedoms. You guys can't tell us to put on a mask. You deported an American citizen. Well, that happens. Oh, but you had to wear a mask. You guys are still losing your shit about wearing a fucking mask to try and prevent the spread of a disease, and you're still mad about it. But if somebody snatches you up on the street and puts you in a van and deports you to Mexico when you're an American citizen or you have legal status here, oh, well, things happen. It's really fucking hard for me to buy this argument you guys are making that you're not racist. It's really fucking hard because all the arguments you've used aren't true. If they were true, you wouldn't be supporting what's happening right now. So you have to make a choice. Are you racist, or are you just in a cult where there isn't racism because everything Donald Trump is good? Everything Donald Trump does is good. That's what it feels like. It feels like you guys are willing to justify anything and everything as long as Trump does it, because you have tied your identity to one guy who, by the way, can't sit through a UFC event without shitting his pants. You can watch the videos of his daughter sniffing, or granddaughter just plugging her nose. You don't have to download these lives, by the way. If you're here on TikTok, I go live every day, and the replays are always available on YouTube. So you don't even have to download these lives. They're always available. And if I haven't seen you guys for a while and you're wondering where I've been, I'm here every day. TikTok just usually bans me. So we've ended a 7-day ban on Friday, and we're here. Dude, if you break laws, you have to pay the price. Do you? Do you, though? Because what's the price Trump paid for breaking those laws? What's the price that the January 6ers paid for breaking those laws? Yeah, fuck off with that. Fuck all the way off with that. You're just making excuses. If a Republican breaks the law, it's fine. If a Democrat or somebody that you just perceive as a Democrat because they're not white, if they break a law, then it's a problem. These people aren't breaking the laws. If you're on a visa if you're here on a visa and you can't get into court and your visa expires, you're trying to keep the law, right? Sorry, we got to have a hard line on that. We got to have ICE invading the court system, and ICE needs to be there at court. And after they try and square everything away, ICE is just going to detain them and deport them. Jen, is that you? Sounded like a butt.
Yes.
All right. Whoa. Oh, damn, that's loud.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey.
Hey, so people are big mad today.
I honestly think it's just a reaction to them having to defend like the indefensible. I think like the heated days are like this. When Trump does really shitty things, the chat is always the most heated because these folks, they're not allowed to say Trump did something bad. They're not allowed to say
Right.
that. Yeah.
No, I'm seeing the comments. I mean, they're pissed off. It'll be okay, guys. Take a deep breath. It'll be all right. So we are here, like Jay mentioned, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. This is our job, as much as people disagree and don't think it's a job. We are crowdfunded. So if you look in that top left-hand corner, that's the remaining balance of our gift goal. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out the remaining balance of that goal. So yeah, if you guys could help us knock that.
We're not supposed to say those words. That's what I was told
Okay,
by our
well,
TikTok rep. Yeah.
Well, it's what it is. So we're gonna get taken down by probably anyway. So I mean, at some point. Anyway, so you see the links for all that. If you guys want to come on and talk to RTP, you can. And how you do that is if you look at the Venmo username, that is my Discord. So if you want to DM me on Discord, I can bring you up and talk to RTP in real time. If you're on watching us on Twitch, you can use an Amazon Prime sub to subscribe. YouTube, please, you can do a regular subscription, or we also have 4 different memberships if you'd like to support us over there. Check out our link tree. We're on most social media platforms, and we've got some merch. We started up a Spotify, so we're uploading all these episodes also to Spotify if you'd like to listen over there. And Jay started up a Cameo as well. So there's all the things. So if you guys could help us out, knock out the rest of that gift goal before the end of the show, we would greatly appreciate it. So yeah. So sadly, the inventor of the throat lozenge has died.
Oh no.
There'll be no coughing at his funeral.
Mission accomplished. Bradley says today's a tough day and have no corny dad joke, but keep doing what you're doing. Maybe tomorrow I can get the energy to send a dad joke. That's how I feel. And I think that there's like I think the non-political world sees it the way we do. Like this is for those who aren't used to Trump and aren't used to MAGA, like they're seeing violence for no reason. They're seeing the lack of humanity for no reason, and it does affect them. I think that in some ways we're fortunate. Like there have been a lot of attempted like takeovers, like strongman takeovers in the history of the world. This is one of the dumbest people ever to try and take over, and he's also surrounded by dumb people who aren't palatable. And so only if you're like in MAGA do you think Stephen Miller is a palatable person, or Pete Hegseth the drunk, or Kash Patel or Dan Bongino. Only those who are like in the cult would be like, oh, these podcasters totally know what they're doing. Thanks, Roy, for hopping on that train. I appreciate it, my friend. All right, moving on. I just want to show this. I hope that a lot of people are considering running for office right now. There is a significant difference between the people that are running for Republican office right now and Democrat office right now. And the main difference is that the people who are running to be Republicans, they're running on we love Israel, we love Donald Trump, we hate immigrants. And I don't think that's a great message. Democrats are running people who have an axe to grind and who truly do believe like we're at a state in this country where we have to decide where we're headed. We have to decide, like, if this experiment of democracy, representative republic, representative democracy, constitutional democracy, constitutional republic, whatever fucking word you guys are supposed to say now, if we're going to keep doing this or if we're just going to go, like, full dictator. This is Ryan Croswell. This is a member. He is a prosecutor for the DOJ. And he quit his job as a prosecutor for the DOJ when Trump, in order to get Eric Adams to do what he wanted, convinced the DOJ to drop charges. Trump dropped charges against a Democrat, and the Democrats are the ones who got mad. Imagine that. Imagine that. Corruption charges. When Trump stepped in and cut a deal with a Democrat, and Democrats got mad. And Republicans were like, yeah, we like corruption. So this prosecutor said, I'm not going to fucking do this. I'm not just going to overlook prosecution under this administration. So he quit. Here he is.
At this point, too many lines have been crossed, and so I too resigned. The threats against current members of the legal community, both in public service and private practice, are real, and they're of consequence. To those attorneys facing such threats, I share with you a message that I received on the day that my colleagues and I were ordered to dismiss the Adams case. It came from a fellow Marine. It read, "Keep your head up and keep your values and your oath at the forefront." Every attorney who takes an oath to uphold the law, and every citizen who values democracy must have a line in the sand that cannot be crossed. Speaking out and doing the right thing increasingly comes with personal risk. But the day after I resigned, my sister had her first daughter, and I want my niece to know the same democracy that I've known. That's worth any cost. That's worth fighting for. Thank you.
Once again, that is Ryan Croswell. He is a former Justice Department prosecutor whose job it was to fight corruption and who found corruption with Eric Adams, a Democrat, and left the department because this administration doesn't care about corruption. They don't care about bribes. They don't care about foreign influence. They just care about getting what they want done, which ironically benefits fucking none of you. That's the irony of these dumb motherfuckers in my chat right now. That's the irony of you dipshits. You're getting nothing. Nothing. You're just mad at us for saying it. Are you going to get more dollars in your pocket? Nope. Is your kid's future in a better position now? Nope. If you suddenly lose your ability to work, or do you have a country that's going to take care of you? Nope. What do you get? Oh, we're going to have a big parade and they're going to have tanks and things. I hope they throw candy. You're getting a parade? You're getting some podcasters? You're getting Fox News running the government now? Oh, and all your favorite billionaires are going to make a shit ton of money. They're all going to get their taxes cut. People that are scamming out there, like stealing money from the American public, those people aren't going to be investigated. The industries you claim you love, like cryptocurrency, you're just going to get stolen from. People are going to steal all your shit, and this administration's going to do nothing. Why? They're in on it. They're on the take. They're legitimately, like, we can track the money of a scam, and it goes right into Donald Trump's pocket. No worries from you guys. What are you getting? You're getting cruelty. We love cruelty. This is what we voted for. You didn't even vote for any of this shit. We say this every day. Somebody send me a fucking clip. Send me a clip, Republicans. $20 for any Republican who can send me a clip from before the election saying, what I'm voting for is ICE raids at workplaces. What I'm voting for is a budget that will explode the deficit while giving tax breaks almost exclusively to the rich. All the shit you claimed you were voting for, you're not getting any of it. You're lying to yourselves. That's the worst part. Like, we don't give a fuck if you lie. We're used to you lying. Yeah, we want to get what we really want is a total police state. Let's see if we can have Palantir build profiles of each of us and track our every movement. Let's give a private company all of the data that the government has, and when they say we won't use it against you, we'll just trust them. That's what I voted for, says MAGA. You just don't like us. You've been worked up into this like frenzy of like, we don't like the left. We don't like the left. We don't like the left. So every morning you wake up and you see this shit and you have to do one of two things. You either have to say, I'm all in, I do whatever Donald Trump says, or you can take the approach of, well, I don't like this, but it's still better than being on the left. And you're going to find yourself at some point having to make a decision on whether or not you're going full authoritarian or if you're with the left. Because the left is the anti-authoritarian wing of this country. It is the anti-authoritarian movement of this country. And you guys are the fucking bootlickers. Think of any movie imaginable. I watched Newsies growing up a lot. It was one of my favorite movies. And there's these two brothers, the Delancey brothers, if any of you have seen it. The story of Newsies is that the newspapers are making a fortune. They're the richest people in the world. And there's these kids that sell newspapers. And the newspaper owners decide they can't raise the price on people buying the newspaper because they'll stop buying it, and they're in competition with other newspapers. So what are they going to do instead? They're going to cut the pay to the people that are handing out the news, that are selling the newspaper, the Newsies, they call them, based on a true story. And so the Newsies went on strike. They're like, we're already the lowest paid people, and you're cutting our pay. So they go on strike. And the Delancey brothers are some other young guys who come out and they punch. They come out punching. They come out and they're there to do the bidding of the powerful. And they injure people and they hurt people. And there are people throughout the movie that are like, yeah, go Delancey. That's you. You're bootlicking for the government. You're bootlicking for the police. You're bootlicking for an authoritarian state. You are not freedom-loving, tough guys. You're bitches. Baby-backed bitches. Every one of you. I can't make things better on my own, so I'll just worship the police. I'll just worship the government. Yeah, they totally should have profiles on all of us. They should track our every movement. Oh, and by the way, they should also make billions of dollars doing it. That's America. Like, it's the most cucked out bootlicking party imaginable. You guys show up here like you're, it's crazy. You show up here like you're anti-establishment. Like you're doing something different. Nah, dude, you're just a 60-year-old white guy in a 20-year-old body. Too big of a bitch to do anything with your life. Too big of a bitch to stand up for anything real. And so now you're like, yeah, now you get your rocks off by like bootlicking rich people and bootlicking the government. I fucking hate my rights, man. I fucking hate my rights. You guys are so whiny about losing your rights. Nah, you're bitches. Every one of you. Think about that. Think about the administration that you're following right now. Billionaire criminal at the top. Who's the second in command? Some guy that was handpicked and placed there by who? Billionaires. Peter Thiel, one of the very first investors in Palantir, who's getting all of your information right now and getting all the government contracts. And how did J.D. Vance become the VP? Is it because everybody fucking loved him? No, none of you bitches knew who he was. In fact, the last time you heard of him, he was calling Trump Hitler, and you're like, oh, this guy has Trump derangement syndrome. And then a few people wrote a fucking check, and all of a sudden, J.D. Vance is a patriot. He's one of you. He's part of MAGA. He definitely isn't a plant from billionaires. And then you're like, we're going to fill this whole cabinet with freedom-loving patriots like Howard fucking Lutnick. Like Scott Bessent. Scott, do you know who Scott Bessent learned everything from? You want to have your mind really fucking blown? Who mentored Scott Bessent? Do you know? Trump's #1 economic advisor. Who mentored him? Who taught him everything he knew? George motherfucking Soros. He worked for George Soros. He was George Soros's right-hand man. And now he's making the economic decisions for all of you. And you're like, yeah, dude, this is MAGA. Look at our trucks. Look at our flags. We got lifted trucks, man. Scott Bessent Scott Bessent, the gay, married, having child, George Soros protege. That's MAGA now, right? That's truly MAGA. Who's running the Department of Education? Is it a lifelong teacher? Is it like your aunt, your grandma, your mom, your favorite school teacher, your favorite principal, somebody who grinded their ass off their whole life to understand education? No, it's some psycho whose husband started WWE and she was along for the ride, where they trafficked humans, legitimately, like children. They trafficked children and ran like this big monopoly. That's how they got their business. And they fucked people over. And yeah, why not? Why shouldn't she be in charge of education? Why not? And then you're like, you know what I would love at the FBI? I would love a fucking podcaster to run the FBI. A podcaster who, by the way, we gave millions of dollars to, buying all his shit because he told us things like Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And then he comes, no, he totally did. No, he totally did. Jan 6 was an inside job. Oh, yeah? Where's that information? We gonna have that information yet? How about, weren't we supposed to get something about Fauci by now? We got Fauci. And what's he doing? He comes into office, this podcaster who's been grifting off you guys by lying forever. And what's the first thing he does? Starts flying his jet everywhere. He's going to UFC fights. He's going to concerts. He's going to events. And he's just like milking the taxpayer dime to go out. He's on Rogan. Why do we have an active FBI director doing Joe Rogan appearances? Shouldn't he be working? We need the FBI director to sit down with Joe Rogan for 4 hours in Austin, Texas, and tell us why you should trust him. What are we looking at here, folks? What are we looking at? No, but they say that they like Trump too, and so since we like Trump and they like Trump, so it's good. It's just everything's going to be good. It's the dumbest fucking administration ever put together, with legitimately no experience. The wars that were going to end on day one, still going. Actually, all of them have gotten significantly worse. Every one of them. And new ones are starting. Did that fix it? How about these trade? Oh, we're going to have the best trade deals. Zero. We have zero fucking trade deals. Zero. And China's just killing our farmers right now because they're like, we're not going to buy meat from America. Not when they're out here fucking us over every day. No, we'll just buy it from Australia. And so now Australia's like, this is pretty cool. We got a booming agriculture industry now. All these other countries are cleaning up. America first. America first, right? That's why you can't buy American beef in China anymore, because America first, right? Don't tell me. I'm not even crying. That's the crazy thing. You guys are too dumb to even realize what I'm saying. I'm mocking you. I'm not crying. I am making fun of you. And this is how you wind up in this situation. You're too goddamn dumb to know what you're hearing. I am openly mocking all of you because you hired a bunch of fucking morons to run the country and they can't do it. They can't accomplish anything. Congress can't pass a fucking bill. The one bill they finally pass is this massive spending bill that's going to explode the deficit. And now they're just saying things like, I guess it'll explode the deficit if you believe in math. But if you don't believe in math and you just take our word for it that we're gonna put jet fuel in the economy, then this bill makes sense. And you're still here defending it. Nobody's crying. We're begging. This is begging. You said, I thought I was begging for money earlier. I'm begging for you to wake the fuck up. You are getting nothing. You are in an abusive relationship. And they're out there cheating on you with every other country. It's you first, baby. Yeah, MAGA, it's you. It's America first, baby. They're out there fucking Qatar. They're fucking the Saudis. They're fucking the Israelis. They're fucking the Russians. They're fucking the Egyptians. They're fucking everybody but you. They are out there cheating on you every day. And it's on the news. You can see it. And you're just like, no, they're totally loyal to me, though. This is a good relationship. This is going well. They sold all my data to Palantir? The people that invested in Trump? Oh, yeah, no, that's for me, too. They're sleeping with everybody but you. And we're here and we're just like, hey, guys, you're getting cheated on. And MAGA is, you never liked him. You never gave him a fair chance. You're only saying this because you want me to be miserable like you. No, dude, we're not publicly being cheated on by our president who promised us that we would come first. So I only got eyes for you, baby. Oh, I only have eyes for you, MAGA. He hasn't looked your direction since he got your votes. November 6th, he abandoned you. They counted the votes. He's like, oh, that's enough. Bye. And you're like, come back, please, someday. Please come back. I'll stay loyal forever. You are Forrest Gump. Trump is Jenny. It's a relationship. You're running across the country, fighting for the country, growing out your beard. You got excellent at ping pong. Also that you could get a disease that was from Trump that he got while he was fucking somebody else. Yeah, congratulations. And just like Forrest Gump, he's gonna die soon, pretty soon, and you're gonna be left trying to raise that baby and trying to convince everybody around that this was a good thing for you. No, this was totally good, guys. This was good for America. We have more debt now. All of our trading partners fucking hate us. Our agriculture is gone now. We can't do agriculture here anymore because we can't sell it to other countries. We have no allies anymore. But no, it's totally worth it because we owned the libs. We owned the absolute fuck out of the libs by winning this election. Madeline said, cruelty is the point. You can't force empathy. Yeah. It is, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if like MAGA got sleepwalked into this or if this is who they were, but like you're just really good at taking directions. That's what you're good at. You're good at being abused. You're good at believing things that you don't see. You're just good at taking directions. And I'm just saying, I think you should get out of this abusive relationship. Devin said, they don't tread on me, motherfuckers. The second their favorite billionaire narcissist president mobilizes the National Guard on America's, tread on them, daddy. Tread harder. All right. I'm just going to show this. I know we want to get to the LA. We'll get to it. I think this is proof here. So this is Tim Dillon. If any of you don't know Tim Dillon, I'm going to tell you that if you don't know Tim Dillon, if you haven't watched Tim Dillon, let me just tell you, Tim Dillon is one of those people who I sometimes agree with, sometimes I don't agree with, but the one thing Tim Dillon doesn't ever do is back the fuck down. If Tim Dillon has an opinion, Tim Dillon, by God, he's going to share that opinion. And this is a friend of Joe Rogan. This is a friend of all these right-wingers. And he is being more honest than maybe any other, podcaster, celebrity, whatever you want to call him, in the world. He is surrounded by the people in Austin. Listen to what blew me away here is just how obvious it is that the billionaire class, the tech billionaire class, and this administration, how they have captured the podcast bros, and then in turn captured you. Listen to Tim Dillon. This is 9 minutes, but it's good.
And that's where you bring in Palantir. The New York Times article here, the Trump administration has tasked Palantir, Peter Thiel and Palantir, with building a database of Americans. Their financial info. So Peter Thiel, Palantir is founded by these guys, Alex Karp, Joe Lonzell, and Peter Thiel. I met Joe Lonzell in Austin. I went to his house. Nice guy, very smart. I described him on the show. He no longer likes me.
Weird, right? All these tech billionaires move to Austin, and then they start bringing in the podcast bros, and they start bringing in the comedians, and they start telling them things. And the comedians and the podcast bros, like, they don't know the difference. But Tim Dillon is like, he's immune to bullshit because this is like, he was a bullshitter. This is a guy that used to I think he worked in the mortgage industry, and he has his stories of like scamming people during the mortgage crisis are incredible. They're funny, but like he's just giving an honest look of like, here's how bad it was. Like we legitimately just scammed everybody. He knows a scam when he sees it.
That's fine. This is a pattern for me, right? This seems to be a pattern. I don't think it's right. He had a great big swimming pool, and I love swimming, and I love a big pool. Most people don't have them. He had a huge pool. I think it was 80 feet. Doesn't matter. I'm being sued. He'll sue me for this.
This guy's name's Tim Dillon. He has the Tim Dillon podcast. He's massive, and he's massive on, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's like a right-wing podcaster, but like he's a comedian. He's gay. He regularly like makes like he crosses the line a lot. Like he's like an edge comedian. He'll sit on the edge of every social issue, and he constantly crosses the line. So this is a guy who like gets canceled a lot. I'm far more understanding of comedians who like that's where they live. They're going to get canceled a lot. But Tim Dillon, it's kind of hard to cancel him because he's just going to keep doing what he's doing.
I met him. He no longer, I think, is actively involved with Palantir. He's doing some other startup. Like he wanted to build another city and to compete with Austin or something. You know, everyone's got a fun idea.
He also hates liberals.
At these tech things when you go. Everyone's got a fun idea. Everyone wants to do something revolutionary. And so in March, President Trump signed an executive order calling for the federal government to share data across agencies, raising questions over whether he might compile a master list of personal information. Mr. Trump has not publicly talked about the effort since, but behind the scenes, officials have quietly put technological building blocks into place to enable his plan. In particular, they have turned to one company, Palantir, the data analysis and technology firm. This is where you have to start questioning if the Trump administration is like some type of op, meaning like, is this real? Is the administration that got elected to purge the deep state actually using the deep state to compile a list of data on all the people that live here? This shadowy company Palantir that works with the CIA and the military, they do all this fun stuff. They export all their technology all over the world to places, fun like Israel right now. I don't know what they're doing. I guess setting up breakfast. Yeah.
How did the anti-deep state people become the deep state without you guys noticing? Because you just sold your souls. You don't care about any of this. You never cared about the deep state. You never cared about the surveillance state. You never have. By the way, when I was a Republican, I can tell you that we talked about this a lot, but we didn't care. I was still a Republican during the days when we were like, we hate the deep state, we hate surveillance, but then we're like, that Patriot Act's not bad. Let's go ahead and let's create a department called ICE, and they're there to go chase down terrorists. And then 20 years later, they're just here actually terrorizing our streets. They're so big that now they just terrorize our streets. They're not going after terrorists. They're going after legitimately people who committed a misdemeanor. If you're going to say that people like came to this country illegally, crossed the border illegally, they committed a misdemeanor. So now we have the people who originally were supposed to track down terrorists, tracking down people who were essentially jaywalking.
Stations for the Palestinians? Perhaps not. But this shadowy company is compiling a list of data of American people. The Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon, when Mr. Trump took office, according to public records, including additional funds from existing contracts, as well as new contracts with the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon. So Palantir has received $113 million in federal government spending since Trump took office. This does not include a $795 million contract the Department of Defense awarded the company last week, which has not been spent. Representatives of Palantir are also speaking to two other agencies, the Social Security Administration and the Internal Revenue Service, about buying its technology. The push has put a key Palantir product called Foundry into at least 4 federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services. Pay attention. Health, taxes, financial information, right? Widely adopting Foundry. What a lovely...
I want to point out, because Tex sent me a message, said people did vote for mass deportations. Yeah, and you're not getting them. You're not getting mass deportations. You're getting mass chaos. The way that this administration is going about, and I think this should probably be understood, is that you noticed that when Trump did deportations his first time around, you didn't have mass protests? You notice when Obama did it, there weren't mass protests? You notice when Biden did it, there wasn't mass protests? What's the difference? We weren't showing up in riot gear, raiding workplaces, and then videotaping it, and then putting it up online and making like jack-off films for you guys at home to beat off to while we're like escorting immigrants into cars and into planes. That's the difference. You got it's not about immigration, really. It's not even about deportation. It's about how you're doing it. And it's about how many times you're going to fuck up and not apologize for it. It's about you telling us that Kilmar Abrego Garcia received due process, and so now he's in jail. And then a month later, you're like, oh, we got to bring him back and give him due process. And you made up new charges to give him due process after you had told us in front of Congress, we can't bring him back. It's out of our control. And now he's back. And now you're giving him due process. It's that. It's that level of incompetence. It's that, and it's MAGA just going, oh, due process. Oh, we said last week he didn't get due process, but now, okay, he gets it. Yeah, he gets due process. That's what we're all about, due process. You just flip. No matter what the fuck they say, you just repeat it. And then when you repeat the exact opposite thing the next day, you won't talk about it. You just pretend it didn't happen. It's cult shit.
By the way, it's funny that this shadowy military CIA contractor is using a company called Foundry, a company that like you'd think that you were like getting artisanal baked goods from, except it's compiling all the data on you and everyone you know.
It does sound
Foundry,
like a good place to get a croissant.
Foundry, which analyzes and organizes data, paves the way for Mr. Trump to easily merge information from different agencies. Creating detailed portraits of Americans based on government data is not just a pipe dream. This has got to be stopped dead in its tracks. And to the credit of some of the real hardcore MAGA people, they're actually pushing back on this.
Yeah, ironically, the only people with principles. This is what sucks. What we found out about MAGA is the only people in your movement that seem to have any principles at all are like the most racist ones, like Nick Fuentes, or the most radical ones like Steve Bannon. The rest of you just roll with it. You will do anything and everything. Like whatever Trump says, it's fine. You're just going to go. There seems to be a handful of people that have principles on your side of the aisle. Unfortunately, their principles seem to be, we want a white ethno-state and we don't like massive government. And you guys are like, you know what? We can get on board with the ethno-state. We're not going to say it, but we want a big government, and we want big government overreach. Why? Well, because Daddy Trump said so. That's why. Before the election, we wanted smaller government, but now that he's government, we want more daddy, please.
This is what you were afraid of. This is the no good thing. I know many of you out there are confused, as am I. I'm a little confused. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know. I think a lot of people don't really know what's going on. I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know what's going on. And a lot of people don't understand why an administration that got elected going, we're going to actually go in there, and this permanent government of the CIA and all these agencies that are constantly fomenting conflict all over the world, starting wars.
MAGA, I just want to know, MAGA, raise your hand if you're here. Are you cool with Palantir? Do you like Palantir? Do you like that the government is giving a private company access to all of your data? Do you like that? I'm not saying, I'm not asking for anything other than, do you agree with Trump's decision to take Palantir, a private company, and give them access to all your data to create profiles on each and every one of you? I just want to know. Anybody? Anybody? This guy's not on the left. Jesus Christ. Straw manning? This guy's on the right. What are you fucking talking? This was a Trump guy. That's how fucked up you guys are. Is that you think anybody who is criticizing this administration is on the left, because you couldn't even fathom criticizing this administration. It would eat you up inside. You can't even think about it.
And spying on Americans and listening to them, we're going to get rid of that. However, before we do that,
it's at 1.5 speed.
Let's sideline that for a minute, and let's first give Palantir $800 million so that they can compile a list of everything you've ever done. Does that sound like does that sound like the deep state's going?
Listen, here we are. Here's MAGA. They have all our data. They just want to make it public and legal. Oh, okay. Oh, they're doing us a service. Guys, MAGA wants us to know that Palantir having all your data and building profiles about you for every click that you make on the internet, it's for you. It's the nannies. We call that the nanny state. It's big government. Big government's here for you. They're watching over you so you don't make mistakes. Really, it's a service, says MAGA. It's an absolute service to have every move you make be watched, to have every keystroke that you make on your computer be logged and compiled in a profile that could just be used against you. Thank God, the government, this government, United States government, thank God they have never used information to set somebody up. Thank God they don't do that. Thank God they've never imprisoned people on false pretenses before. Whew. This would be scary if we didn't have the world's most honest government with a perfect track record. It would be scary. But since we know our government, you guys know them, MAGA, you know, you guys have been saying this forever. Stop criticizing the government. They're here to help. You guys have always been saying that. I brought it up last time. Ronald Reagan said, I think the like most terrifying sentence you can hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. But now MAGA's like, we love the government. Please tell us what to do. I'm so sorry that we didn't give you all of our information. Can I give you more? Why don't you insert a tracking device into my asshole? Just do that. That'll make everything better. Now they're the party of like, let's let the government do everything that they want to. They should really, honestly, the government should be controlling our every move when you think about it. That's true freedom. Our founding fathers knew that someday our government would need to track every single move that we made, and everything we put on social media needed to be compiled into a profile that they could use against us later. That's what our founding fathers envisioned.
Away. I'm curious. I don't even understand. I'm confused. And I'm if you're not confused, you're an op. Truly, if you know the answer, you're an op. I'm no longer speaking to people who aren't dumbfounded and confused because they're incredibly dishonest. Anyone that's not confused is incredibly dishonest. Anyone that has a clear line of shit right now that goes, well, actually, let me tell you what. You're compromised. You're fully. All these people on it.
He's talking to you, MAGA. He's talking to you. You're part of a psyop. You're part of an operation, and they're finding out like, hey, this is dope. This is dope. These people went from I don't trust the government, so I'm not wearing a mask, to daddy government, please direct and follow my every move. Please follow my every move. We can't take you seriously. You shouldn't be taken seriously. And if you have people in your life who are defending this, just don't take them seriously. That might be the move. It might just be like, sorry, we can't talk to you anymore. I tried to talk to a MAGA yesterday. I don't even remember his name. I was sitting in his live. Somebody like mentioned my name, so he invited me up. And I simply asked him to read a law he had just cited so we could get on the same page. Freaked the fuck out. Just freaked out. He didn't know. Nobody's ever asked him to read the law that he was cited. Freaked out. Within 2 minutes, I was muted and dropped. And that's who MAGA is now. That's who they get so frustrated so quickly because there's no real answers to this other than, hey, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to stay in the cuck chair. I'm not supposed to leave this chair. And I'm supposed to make eye contact. So please stop distracting me from sitting in this chair and making eye contact with Trump as he fucks our country. I'm not allowed to leave the cuck chair. Stop it. You're making me uncomfortable right now.
The Gaza thing, even the staunchest Israel defenders I know are going, that's a lot. It's a bit much. So if you have not one reservation about what's going on over there, I'm not saying
we're not pro-criminal. That's why we voted for a litigator and you voted for an actual fucking criminal. I mean, this is what we're talking about. How the fuck did we get here? We're at a place where you're like, the left just loves criminals. Oh, you guys are you pardoned the Jan 6 people. I think it's cost billions of dollars to the American taxpayer now for all the people that Trump has pardoned for financial crimes, where they no longer have to pay restitution. You guys are full of criminals. It's crazy. You are nothing more than like random sentence generators, but they're all talking points that we've all heard before. What do you mean we're pro-criminal? What criminals are we supporting right now?
And you have to feel one way or another way, but if you don't have any if you have no reservations about what's happening with all these kids getting killed, I don't know, I can't trust you. If you don't have any reservations about Palantir taking everyone's information, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you. I think they're buying people left and right. This is my guess. They try to buy me. My pussy costs a lot of money. I get invited.
All right, that's the end of Tim Dillon. See look how quick the right is turning on Tim Dillon now, just because he's pointing out, hey guys, you seem to be a little cucky. I'm pro Martha Stewart. I appreciate that. Who wouldn't be pro Martha? Jamar says, life is like a box of MAGAs. Except for you always know exactly what you're going to get. It's stupidity. FOD said abusive relationships are the Christian nationalist way. Facts. I mean, Jesus, read the Bible. That's an abusive relationship. You cannot wear clothes that contain more than one fabric. Okay. They can't because their mouth is full of cherry balls. Cherry balls. know what that is. All right, let's get to it. I think I had one more thing, and then we'll get to it. No, that was it.
Let me
do
do
your
this
thing
first.
Real
So,
quick. That comedian's name was Tim Dillon. Go ahead.
All right. So, this just everybody. Hi TikTok. It's good to see everybody. It's been a minute because usually Jay can't behave himself, but we're glad to see you. So, if you guys don't remember, I mean, our gift goal is a little light. I mean, I'm not saying I'm mad, but maybe
I haven't
you guys. I
updated
know you
it.
guys can do better.
I'm doing bad on that.
Well,
I need to update it too. Sorry.
But I'm just saying. I know. I have faith that you guys can do better.
Huh.
You guys don't usually let me down. RTP, on the other hand, all the time lets me down. You guys not as much. So
Thank
just
you.
let's not flip that around today.
I hurt my feelings a little bit. I'm all right. I'll live.
I mean, it's Monday. It's
Okay. My
part of what I do. Anyways, so we do the show each day from Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1. So that top left-hand corner is our gift goal. You see those links, the pay links, the words I'm not supposed to say with the V, the C, and the P.
Sounds like you're talking about something else. Sounds like you're talking about
I
your
know.
weekend.
I know. Sounds like a good time. So if you guys would help us out, knock out that remaining balance, we greatly appreciate it. If you disagree with RTP and you'd like to come on and talk to him about something that supposedly you think he's wrong about, you can do that. The Venmo is my Discord username. You can DM me on Discord and I can bring you up to talk in real time. You don't have to be so mad in the comments. So that's how you can come on and have a conversation. If you haven't already subscribed to us, you can do so on all the platforms. TikTok, Twitch, you can use the Amazon Prime sub. YouTube, there's a regular subscription and also 4 different memberships if you like to support. Check out our link tree. We're on most social media platforms, also Spotify and Cameo. And also we've got some merch. So there's all that. So we've got about 2 hours or so left of the show to knock out that remaining balance. If you guys help us out there, that would be awesome. I could never be a plumber.
Okay.
It's too hard watching your life's work go down the drain.
Stupid. Somebody just said that they just got an alert that Homan says he's going to arrest Gavin Newsom. Here's Trump being asked about that. This is breaking, I think, just in the last couple minutes.
Gavin Newsom he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing.
He said, I would do it if I was Tom. I think it would be great to arrest a governor. Yeah.
He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Gavin Newsom.
So arrested, grossly incompetent. Got it. Look, I think whatever you want to say about California, I'll say this. I don't think it's nearly as poorly run as you guys pretend it is. It's ironic to hear people on the right complaining about like California all the time. All your states are a joke. Like every deep red state is a fucking joke. You guys are the biggest welfare states. Your economies are you don't tax appropriately. So you're always like, look at these people that are fleeing California to come to our state because taxes are so high. Yeah, because California pays their bills, but most people don't care. So if they can move to Tennessee, they don't give a fuck if Tennessee runs a budget deficit. They don't give a fuck if Tennessee doesn't educate their children. They just want to pay less taxes. Ironic from the Christian party, right? Ironic from those who love to talk about Christian values. Seems to be like your number one thing is cruelty followed by money. It's never really about acting like Jesus, is it? It's always about doing what Jesus preached against, ironically. We'll get to that. I just want to say this though. So Trump has mobilized the National Guard in California. This has not happened many times in our country, but let me give you the last the last 3 times it happened. In 1957, President Eisenhower was the president. The governor of Arkansas was Orval Faubus. And Governor Faubus used the Arkansas National Guard to block school integration of Little Rock Central High School, where black students were coming. And he used the National Guard so that they couldn't come in. So Eisenhower then federalized the National Guard, removing them from the governor's command and sending the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne to ensure that students could get into the school. They used the Insurrection Act as their basis for that. That's your uncle? Oh, damn. I hope your uncle is Eisenhower, not Faubus. Then in 1965, President Lyndon Johnson used the National Guard in Alabama, where the governor was George Wallace. During the Civil Rights March from Selma to Montgomery, Governor Wallace refused to protect the marchers. So Johnson bypassed Wallace and directly deployed the Alabama National Guard to protect the citizens from violence. He also used the Insurrection Act as his basis for that move. In 92, the first George Bush, at the request of California Governor Pete Wilson, brought in the National Guard after the acquittal of the police officers in the Rodney King beatings led to riots in L.A. Governor Wilson requested the federal assistance, so then Bush federalized the National Guard and active duty military to restore order, again used the Insurrection Act, but with the request of the governor, which is generally the way that this happens. Trump bypassed the governor when the governor said we don't need it. Trump used the California National Guard. He federalized them using the Armed Forces Act, 10 U.S.C. 12406, that allows the president to call the National Guard into federal service in cases of rebellion or when the president is unable to enforce federal law with regular forces. You can look at this according to Cornell. This is 10 U.S. Code 12406. You can see here that whenever the United States or any of the Commonwealths or possessions is invaded or is in danger of invasion by a foreign nation. Obviously, that didn't apply. There's a rebellion or danger of a rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States. I assume that's what they're using as their justification, although I don't think that this was a rebellion against the authority. This was just people standing in the way of ICE agents raiding, which I don't know if that is that a rebellion? Wasn't violent, right? The president may call into federal service members and units of the National Guard of any state in such numbers as he considers necessary to repeal the invasion, suppress the rebellion, or execute those laws. Orders for these purposes shall be issued through the governors of the states, or in the case of D.C., through the commanding general of the National Guard of the District of Columbia. Now, the lawsuit, Gavin Newsom has, and the state of California, has sued the federal government because of this part, because they bypassed the governor, and there doesn't seem to have been an actual state of emergency. And this is the thing with Trump. Like, Trump has been trying to do this. This is what he wanted to. He's always wanted to do this. Trump wants to go in. He doesn't like when people protest. He's not a fan of freedom of speech. He's not a fan of protest. And so anytime somebody protests his people, he wants to send in the National Guard. Now, it's one thing if Trump did this regularly, but now I've got questions for you MAGA here. I've debated this many times, and I would hope that the Mod Squad and people like MJ, who I've debated this, older millennial, I sat there with you guys for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, while you gaslit all of us, saying that the president didn't have the authority to call in the National Guard, that only the mayor of D.C. had the authority to call in the National Guard, which you were wrong about, by the way. Isn't it interesting how quickly Trump was able to call in the National Guard, by the way, while he was at a UFC fight? When he's sitting there in the White House watching violence unfold on TV, he couldn't be bothered to call in the National Guard. But when people are just blockading ICE from coming to a building and arresting people, then he was very quick to send in the National Guard, despite the fact that Governor Newsom said, we're good. Yeah, there's a problem. We've got it under control. And it was. You'll notice that none of the escalation of violence happened until Trump got involved. Was there a problem? Yes. Was it escalating? It was not. It wasn't escalating. Trump escalated it. He always does this. Why? Because Trump, like most of you MAGA people, are baby back bitches. And when things don't go your way, you throw a fucking tantrum. And in this case, you handed the reins to our military to the biggest tantrum thrower in the history of this country. You handed your toddler a knife and said, fuck it, go. You handed somebody power who has shown time and time again that he will not use that power justly. He will use it only when he wants to. And I think, if I had to guess, I think the courts are going to rule for California here. I don't think that Trump is going to be able to prove that there's a rebellion against the authority of the government. I don't think he's going to be able to argue that that we have been invaded by a foreign nation. I don't know what legal basis he's going to use here. I think he's going to lose this one too. Just like all, and then instead of any of you going, you know what, this guy doesn't seem to understand the law, the courts keep ruling against him, what you'll say instead is that these are radical leftist judges. You won't accept this court order either because you're in a fucking cult. Yeah, you act out, you get a spanking. Yeah, I agree. I think Trump deserves a spanking, but you guys won't let him do that. When he breaks the laws, none of you care. Why? Because you're in an abusive relationship, because you don't have enough self-respect and you don't have enough integrity to admit to yourself that you're in an abusive relationship. You're just used to this. You're just used to being mistreated. You're used to people lying to your face and you just going along with it and making excuses for them. This may be why some of you are incels, right? Nobody wants somebody that's this big of a bitch. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody that's this bitchy, except for predators. So like you're probably going to be used and abused your entire life because you are attracting predators, because you don't have enough spine to stand up when something's wrong. You don't have the spine to admit you were wrong about something. This is legal. Precedent has been set. When was precedent set here? When was precedent set that the government could come in and bring in the National Guard? Are you talking about when people were marching for civil rights? Those were citizens. The government came in to protect its citizens against the state government. If the precedent would be set, are you saying that the state government here was attacking citizens and the federal government needed to come in to protect them? Or are you talking about the LA riots in 92? Because the precedent isn't there either. Because in 92, and those riots were way worse than this. In 92, the governor called and said, I need your help. Newsom wasn't even calling, we didn't even need to call in the National Guard. There was no need to have the National Guard. And now, because Trump is such a titty baby, now he's putting the police in danger. Because, you've escalated it now. And now people are going to make bad decisions. And now people are going to be violent. And none of you are going to care that the police are violent. You're all going to show videos of someone getting mad at the police and being violent. You'll be like, see? But none of you are going to be up here showing videos of the police being violent and the police escalating it. But good news for you, we're here. So I'm going to show you examples of the police being violent and the police escalating. And you're going to sit there in your cuck chair and you're going to continue to beat it and you're going to continue to defend Donald Trump. And that's fine. And you're welcome to stay. But anybody else who isn't openly sucking this guy's dick every single day, they're going to see it for what it is. Everybody's going to see this for exactly what it is, an attempted authoritarian takeover. I want to start off with this from Jessica Tarloff from The Five, pointing out the obvious here. I talked about it a minute ago with Abrego Garcia, but this is just further evidence. All of these people that are sitting here with Jessica Tarloff a week ago were telling you that Abrego Garcia had received due process and he didn't deserve due process because he'd already had it and he should remain in El Salvador forever. And now they're in a tough position because he's back for due process. Are they allowed to admit that? No, they are not. So they're just going to change their entire argument, and you guys are just going to be like, yeah, that's fine. It's what we do. It's what we do over here at MAGA. We just change the argument when it changes. As long as we side with Trump, it's okay.
A reaction, Jessica, from the White House right now through Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary. She issued a statement on the breaking news. The Justice Department's grand jury indictment against Abrego Garcia proves the unhinged Democratic Party was wrong, and their stenographers and the fake news media were once again played like fools.
No.
No is correct. You guys got played. You don't even know when you got played. You're too stupid to know when you got played. We said he has to come back for due process. He's here for due process now. We said he had the right to due process. He does. And now you guys are like, haha, got ya. We're doing due process. Oh, you got us good. Zing. Amy said red states have higher violent crime, murder, infant mortality, dependence, sexual abuse, domestic violence, gay porn consumption. And if Dems are criminals, get smarter people to prove it. That's fair. That is fair.
Disagree wholeheartedly. And Caroline Leavitt, as well as other members of the Trump administration, from the president himself to Kristi Noem, lied to the American people when they said that they couldn't bring him back. So we can't do that. It's up to Bukele. Well, I guess you could get him back. And I do think it is a victory for the rule of law that he will go, he'll have his due process, and then he'll probably end up in a jail. And then after that's done, then he'll be deported if it turns out that this is true. But they should now systematically go through the list and start with Andre Hernandez and all the other people who are alleged to be innocent of anything, not convicted of any crimes, and bring them back and let them have their day in court. Just put them in front of an immigration judge and do it the legal way. You say we're a party of lawyers. I don't think that's as embarrassing as you think, and you would.
Yeah. You guys just have all these lawyers who know the law. Why aren't you listening to the podcasters? Why not? Why not listen to the podcasters instead, who will just change their opinion?
Probably do better if you had more high-quality lawyers in your party.
Lawyers are... Yeah, and then Jesse was going to talk about how lawyers are bad. Lawyers read books, and books are bad. You don't know when you don't even know when you have egg on your face. It's amazing to hear people like Pam Bondi be like, yeah, we got you, motherfuckers. This just shows how dumb the left is. You're doing exactly what we told you were lawfully required to do. You told us you weren't lawfully required to do that. Now you're doing it, and you're calling us dumb. And that's just like, that works for you guys. You know how fucking brain dead you have to be to hear Pam Bondi say that and to think like, oh, that was a good point by Pam Bondi there. You've just checked out. Like you can't hold that opinion and be somebody who's like, yeah, I looked at everything, and all things considered, it appears like the lefties here were wrong when they said he needed due process, because we're bringing him back for due process, and they were wrong when they said that we couldn't bring him back because Bukele was going to keep him there because Bukele had charged him with crimes. Well, he's back. Bukele never charged him with crimes. Seems like all you had to do was ask for him back, and he's back. But you're told that we're wrong, so you just go with it. And the reason that works is because none of you knew what your argument was ever, because you don't have arguments. You're just loyal to Trump. Your entire political ideology is Donald Trump, and I mean that sincerely. You stand for nothing. You believe in nothing. There isn't a single thing you claim to believe in that you wouldn't reverse tomorrow if Donald Trump changed tomorrow. You would just switch. You would just change your mind. It's what you guys always do. So now when they're claiming that he had to come back for due process, you're like, yeah, he needs due process. He definitely needs it. Just like we said all along. And by the way, did you hear Tarloff there? She's on the left. What did she just say? She said he's probably going to come back. If these charges are real, he's going to get due process. He's going to be charged, and he'll either be put in prison or he will be deported. You notice how none of us are defending him, just his due process? That thing that you guys claimed we were doing, when we were defending his due process, you were like, oh, you guys, you just always side with the immigrants. You love criminals. Well, isn't that what you're doing now? Aren't you just advocating for him to have due process? Why is the argument any different now? Before you're like, oh, he's a wife beater, a human trafficker, and he's a member of a gang, so he doesn't get due process. And we're like, well, even if all of that is true, he gets due process. And you're like, no, you guys just love criminals. And now Pam Bondi is saying he's a wife beater, he's a member of a gang, and he does human trafficking, and we're going to drag his ass into court, and we're going to prove that through due process. And you're like, exactly, suck it, libs. And we're over here going, what? The fuck are you talking? It's exactly what we said. How can you have our position and still think we're wrong? You changed to our position, and now you're like, "But you guys are wrong. We believe exactly what you said, but you're somehow wrong." Because you didn't do it on the timeline that we did it. See, first, we said he didn't get due process, and that's what you should have done. First, you should have said he didn't get due process, and don't look it up. And then, when Pam Bondi says that he does get due process, that's when you change your mind. See, you guys didn't change your mind when Pam Bondi said it. You guys didn't listen to her the first time, so you're wrong and we're right because we listened to Pam Bondi. That's some real cucky shit right there. Real cucky shit from you guys out. Just steal our argument a month and a half later after Pam Bondi says it. She said it. She's right. You said it. You're wrong. I do want to know, like, find me a clip that's worse than this. You guys said this wasn't an insurrection. It's peaceful protest. You called this a peaceful protest. You called the people that went to prison on this day visitors. Peaceful protesters taking a walk through the Capitol. What I want to show here, this is the police line trying to hold people back. You can see the barricades not only have been removed, but they are being used as weapons against the police officers. Down here, you'll see this man in a MAGA cap. I'm not sure what he's doing. And this man using the police shield slamming up against him in riot gear. There appears to be an assault happening over here as well. Obviously, multiple assaults here, multiple assaults here, multiple assaults here. And this you guys called a day of love. Trump calls it a day of love. Beautiful day of love. You'll also see, just while we're at it, I've heard a lot of people say that the fact that there was a Mexican flag meant that these were enemy invaders. I'll just look here through these flags. That appears to, is that the, I don't know if that's the hammer and sickle. I don't know what that is. This is the, I forget what this tree is a sign of. We have obviously Trump. These people weren't there for Trump, like Trump sign, Trump. And we'll see in some of these other shots, we're going to see Confederate flags, which was literally like our enemy, legitimately our enemy, the Confederate flag. But let's watch these non-violent protests while you guys freak the fuck out about what's happening in Los Angeles, can we? Oh, look how peaceful. Oh, they're so peaceful. Aren't these police supposed to be opening the door right here? Why did they set their line clear out here if they were just opening the door to let people in? Remember, they just opened the door to let people in. We're nowhere near the doors. What are they doing here? Pelosi can't call the National Guard, you dipshit. She's the Speaker of the House. The president controls the National Guard. See, here we are. Here we are again. We're already doing it. See what they're doing already? Ah, it was Pelosi's fault. It was Pelosi. Trump could call in the National Guard without Gavin Newsom's permission, by the way. See how they're already doing it? Trump can call in the National Guard without Gavin Newsom's permission, but he can't do it without Nancy Pelosi's permission. Oh, okay. Got it. There's a police officer there, just got rammed to the ground by a barrier. Here's more police getting rammed. These police are backing up here. That guy right there hitting the police with, I don't know, maybe some sort of hammer, maybe? These people right here pushing the police back through the barriers. Oh, there's a Canadian flag. I don't know what the Canadian flag's doing there. How about these people here? Those people were kicking a police officer while he's down. Here came a flagpole came flying in. That's all peaceful though, right? There's a Confederate flag right there. can obviously see rocks, bottles, projectiles being thrown. This was free. This was peaceful, right? Trump definitely shouldn't have called in the National Guard for this, right? Yeah, that was all peaceful, right? See in the chat too. See the Republicans doing anything but talking about this. They will do anything to not address any of this. It's Nancy Pelosi. It's illegal immigrants. They will do anything to not address the fact that they are fucking cucks. I'm not even going to say hypocrites. You're too fucking stupid to be hypocrites. You don't have the emotional capacity to be a hypocrite. You are just dumb. And you just listen to whatever somebody tells you your opinion should be, and then you go with it. You're not even smart enough to be hypocrites. I want to be very clear about that. But I just wanted to show this video of this many people being violent. And then, by the way, I mean, we could show this for hours as they retreat back to the doors, and then they beat the police some more, and then they crack or break the windows and break down the doors and break through barricades. Again, Trump is just a few miles away watching this on TV. He can't call the National Guard because Nancy Pelosi won't let him, because that's how our fucking chain of command works, right? The president can't do anything without the Speaker of the House. I guess Mike Johnson must have approved the National Guard to be deployed in California, right? Because obviously Mike Johnson has more power than Donald Trump, just like Nancy Pelosi did on this day, right? Are we fucking kidding? Are we fucking kidding? Honestly, like, you guys have to know this. You have to know what I'm saying is true. It is absolutely crazy to watch the chat in real time and just like, what about something else? Please, something else. Can we talk about anything else, please? I don't like the fact that I can't explain why Trump didn't call the National Guard on this day, but called it into California with way less violence. I can't explain it. So can we please talk about something else? Let's talk about how the host is hysterical. Let's talk about illegal immigration. Let's talk about Gaza. Let's talk about China. Let's talk about literally anything else except for this video that's happening here. It's getting real uncomfortable in my cuck chair. I'm thinking about standing up, and I'm not allowed to stand up. So I just gotta move past this. I thought this was powerful. This is obviously generate audio that's generated. This is a video from a clip in, I want to say this one was in LA, of people coming, ICE raiding and taking people out of their homes.
Terrible things are happening outside. Poor helpless people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are being torn apart. Men, women, and children are being separated. Children have come home from school to find out that their parents have disappeared. Diary of Anne Frank, 1943.
Tell me the difference. Real quick, Republicans, tell me the difference here. When Anne Frank wrote this in her diary of what she was viewing outside, what's the difference here? You want to tell me? It was the exact same. It was the same argument about Jewish people. They weren't from Germany. Some of them had immigrated here. They're ruining our culture. They're increasing crime. They're taking over our beloved institutions that used to be run by the good whites. What's the difference? Just out of curiosity. What's the difference between what she was watching and what we're watching right now? No, you dipshit. I didn't compare Jan 6 to the Holocaust. I'm just... This isn't the Holocaust. This is the deportations. You guys are too stupid to have this discussion. I swear to God. Like, if you are a Nazi, there's a good chance you're just fucking dumb. You're not intelligent enough to have these discussions. Before the Holocaust, before the extermination camps, came this. Ripping people from their homes. Ripping parents from their children. Why? Because they were Jewish. That's it. What's the difference here? They were Jewish and they didn't believe that Jewish people had any right to be in Germany. That was it. I just want to know, like, fundamentally, what's the difference? We've got new subscribers. I think you know what the answer is. And I think you're just justifying cruelty. And I'd ask any of my Christian MAGA here, what do you think Jesus would be doing right now? I bet Jesus would be down there protesting. And he'd be calling for peace, but he'd be I sure as shit don't think he'd be on your side. I sure as shit don't think he'd be some dumb bitch behind a keyboard going, yeah, lock him up, send him away forever. Oh, you guys have Jesus in your profile. But when it comes time to like act like him, we're never there. We're always on cruelty when it's MAGA. Here was how things started. I just want to be clear here. Here's how shit kicked off in LA. For those who said like peaceful protest, I agree. This was always intended to be a peaceful protest. Well, I'm more like Jesus in behavior, but I do cuss more than Jesus. I don't believe that Jesus was anything more than just like a dude. But yeah, I follow his teachings far more closely than any of you, and I don't even really follow him anymore. So. No, he wouldn't be stealing and looting and assaulting officers. I just said that, you dumb bitch. But he also wouldn't be you. He also wouldn't be focused on the people who looted the officers. He would be standing up for the marginalized, which you don't do. See here, like I don't think people should beat up police. I don't think people should loot. I also don't think ICE should be ripping people away from their families. I don't think ICE should be entering courtrooms, ripping people from their families who are trying their best to follow the law. That's the point. See, you guys, you want to do anything but do what Jesus would do. You'll point to me, you'll point out my hypocrisy, but what you won't ever do is address the own hypocrisy in your own lives. Jesus would have been here. He would have been marching. And by the way, you guys would have told him he was like that he was anti-Semitic and to go back to Palestine or some shit like that. You wouldn't recognize him. You would view him as the enemy because he probably looks a lot more like the people in Palestine than the Donald Trumps of this world. You'd probably say, "Oh, he's from Palestine. He's a danger to us." None of you would be supportive of Jesus. None of you. You're all full of shit. Jesus is just something you use to as a shield to hide behind your bigotry. Oh, I love Jesus so much. I hate gay people. All right, we get it. Oh, I'm going to use Jesus all day. Now that you said that, I'm going to use it all fucking day. I'm going to use it all day. Because Jesus is very disappointed in you for worshiping Donald Trump. I love they say Jesus wasn't a hippie. Oh, really? Where did he live? Wasn't Jesus homeless? What did he instruct his followers to do? Sell all their belongings and become homeless and go teach? Yeah, Jesus was like the original. He was the OG hippie. What did he do? When he rarely got mad, but when he did get mad, who did he get mad at? The government, the rich people, the people who gave nothing to the poor and kept all the money for themselves and helped out all their rich friends. That's really the only time Jesus got mad. Did he get mad when the lady was a sex worker? No, he was cool. He's like, have a seat. Fuck all you guys for judging her, by the way. That's the part you miss. Fuck every one of you for judging her. Go do your thing. Jesus was like straight up communist. Sell all your belongings. If you're rich, you're not getting to heaven. Give everything to the poor. Jesus was like the OG hippie. You guys wouldn't recognize Jesus. He wouldn't like you. If the New Testament happened today, you guys would be the subject. You'd be the one that put him on the cross. You'd be the one that arrested him. And you know who you guys would all love? Fucking Judas. You're like, yeah, we infiltrated that commie and sold him out. Money always works. All you have to do with these people is give them money. You'd be like, fuck yeah, good job, Judas. You took down that commie. And then you give your rich friends more tax breaks. That's what you would be. I swear to God, none of you read the New Testament. None of you. He's just a straight up commie. He was a homeless immigrant. That's who Jesus was. Didn't have legal status in most of the places he went. He just went on his way with his friends. And by the way, I would say military-aged men. Able-bodied, non-working military men. Yikes, huh? If you saw him and his friends coming, you'd call it a migrant caravan, and you'd call ICE. Go hide in your house. Donald Trump, come take care of Jesus. He's coming here. He has sandals on. Are those Birkenstocks? Fucking libs. I hate the fucking libs. You have no clue what you've read. You guys are literally, your religion, your ideology, your politics is just one thing. It's Donald Trump. That's your whole ideology. It's just one fucking guy, which is why you're sitting here like defending like the worst. I was shocked that some of you showed up to defend this today. I thought a lot of the same people who are here every day would, like, you guys would take a break today, but nope, we're here. We're just going to defend this shit all day. I want to point, I don't know who this user was. You guys may know her. I wasn't watching the riots live. Riots, excuse me. I keep calling them riots. I get in trouble. Protests, some of them are riots. Fifi Dosh here makes an excellent point.
Here it is, folks. Here's the big, scary fucking LA protest. Look at that. Now, you notice when you see these videos and there's all this chemical smoke and all these fires, and you see all the cops and the National Guard in the background? Well, look, you don't see the cops and the National Guard here. Are there any chemical smoke and is there any fires? No. I wonder what the difference is.
Huh.
I wonder who's causing all that.
Huh.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And Trump knows that, and you guys know that. You want to see the escalation because you fucking hate us. You absolutely hate us. You hate all those people. All of those people right there were protesting peacefully so that human beings didn't get ripped away from their families and deported. And you're in here talking about Jesus. Jesus would have been there. You don't know what you're looking at. Jesus didn't care about immigration. He told you, in fact, there was only really one rule, right? Didn't he get rid of, if you're a fundamentalist Christian, you understand the Old Testament was the old rules, which means you're not supposed to worry about the old rules anymore, by the way, which is why you all wear clothes with multiple fabrics in them, because the Old Testament was the old rules and the New Testament is the new rules. And what's the new rules, Christians? Where are you? What is it? It's to love people perfectly, right? That's the one rule above all other rules, is to love people perfectly. You fucking hate us. I'm allowed to hate you. I don't follow Jesus, so I'm allowed to hate you. And I don't. I actually don't hate you. I think that you've been abused. I think that you have been conditioned to be people who think that because people like Caroline Leavitt show up with a giant fucking cross that she's on your side. That because people talk openly about their bigotry, and it's the same bigotry you have, that like you've bastardized religion into just hate. It's all hate all the time. And I'm just telling you, I've read your book, and I've read it more than you read it probably. And in that book, I know that the Old Testament was the angry stuff, the vengeful God, and the New Testament, which replaces the old law, is love. That's like the one thing. It's the one thing you're supposed to do is love. And none of you can find yourself to do that. You can't find a way to love. Why? Because your religion is no longer Christianity. It's Donald fucking Trump. And your political beliefs are no longer conservative or Republican. It's Donald fucking Trump. And he all he had to do is tell you that he liked Jesus too. Yeah, I like Jesus too. I also think that people who I think are icky shouldn't have rights. And you're like, yay! I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the Old Testament stuff. I'm only gonna focus on the shit from the Old Testament. All this New Testament, like, don't be rich, give your money to the poor, love people, Good Samaritan. I fucking hate that shit. That sucks. I don't like those people. They're icky. So I'm just gonna do Old Testament. I think some of you, like, you don't get to be Christians then, right? If you're only gonna believe in the Old Testament, then you gotta go find a different religion. You don't get to be Christians anymore. Jesus isn't in the Old Testament. He's only in the New Testament. So you don't get to be Christian. You're all just full of shit. Like, none of you believe in Jesus. You just hide. Like I said earlier, you use him to shield yourself from people calling you a bigot. I'm not a bigot. I just have firmly held beliefs that I'm not supposed to have because they're not in the Bible. I'm supposed to love everybody equally, but I don't like that part. I only like the part where I get to call gay people icky. And so that's the type of Christian I am. That's what Republican Jesus is. It's just Donald Trump. You just worship that guy openly. If you had the opportunity to choose between Donald Trump and Jesus, I think an overwhelming majority of you would choose Donald Trump, and you would say Jesus, he lost his way. He's been watching too much CNN. Jesus got woke. I don't like that Jesus anymore. I like my angry, vindictive Jesus. I like my cruel God. You're born Catholic and baptized at 8 months. Oof. All right, let's get to this Gavin Newsom interview. This was with Fox 11 in California. I'll speed it up a little bit here. Here was Gavin Newsom as this is all kicking off, being interviewed, and just pay attention to how prepared he is, how aware he is of the scenario. And Trump, who sent in the National Guard, was literally at a UFC fight. How up to date do you think Trump was before he called in the National Guard? Can't even be bothered to leave the fight. Like, obviously these fucking riots are out of control. Obviously they're so out of control. But I gotta stay and I gotta watch the fights. I can't be bothered. So I'll just issue orders while I'm at the fights.
What is your main message to the people of California in this moment?
Oh, that Donald Trump is reckless. He's immoral. He's taken the illegal and unconstitutional act.
I'm sorry. Thanks, Mary. Let me get some of these. Jesus would be a Stormy fan more than a Trump fan. Absolute masterpiece demonstration of the stupidity of MAGA's hypocrisy, insanity, cucky doodle doo. Amy Lynn said skin color and language. That's it. Trump pardoned all those Antifa, and they love to say Pelosi's more powerful than Trump. Shout out feminism. Tina said happy Monday. Swish said MAGA skips over the red parts of the Bible. I don't think most of them have read the Bible, to be honest. I find that most of the Christians that I engage with that are MAGA, they haven't read the Bible. They have no clue what's in there.
Federalizing the National Guard, and he's putting lives at risk.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to the violence later, guys. I know you guys want to watch the violence so you can justify it. We'll get to it later. I'm playing things in chronological order. Stay in your cuck chair. Do what you're told. I know that you guys are good at that.
I mean, is it truly unconstitutional? I know it's been done before.
Well, I mean, in his own executive order, it directs the Department of Defense to collaborate with state governors. So by definition, it's illegal. There was no collaboration. There was no counsel, no consideration of the rules of engagement. It was a reckless act that has led to conditions that have been exacerbated, and it's putting people's lives at risk.
So can't he declare an insurrection and go forward with this?
Yeah, he potentially can.
And I'm just for prediction's sakes, what's going to happen while we all watch this, we'll listen to Gavin Newsom. MAGA's going to have a complete and total meltdown in the chat. And what they're going to do is they're just going to like spam anything that they've ever heard about Gavin Newsom that they don't like. And because they don't want to hear what he has to say, what they're going to try and do is distract you from his interview by smearing him. Because again, it's not about learning, it's not about getting the right answer, it's not about understanding a situation, it's all about politics with MAGA all the time. And so because he's saying things that go contrary to Lord and Savior Donald Trump, all of the MAGA in the chat is going to spend the entirety of this video just smearing Gavin Newsom. They will not respond to a single thing he says in this video. They won't address it. They won't come up here and debate it. They will sit in the chat like the good cucks that they are, and they will repeat talking points that they've heard about Gavin Newsom so that they and their Trump cuck buddies can circle jerk it together and not have to address reality. So there's the prediction. Enjoy watching the MAGA meltdown in the chat.
And there's latitude, but as it relates to the actual language in his executive order, there's a reason we're going to court tomorrow, and the reason we're confident that we will succeed. That said, he's pushing now out the boundaries, whether or not we're going to get into posse comitatus, and whether or not he's going to test the theories in that case to then require the state National Guard in a federalized posture to coordinate and collaborate with ICE enforcement, which certainly would not have a precedent in 100+ years.
You think that's going to happen?
I think we're on the precipice of that being a real possibility. I have zero confidence. He's acting recklessly. He's acting unlawfully. He's putting people's lives at risk. And it's my job to clean up Donald Trump's mess because he's making it by the hour.
You guys talked the other night, right?
Yes, we do.
What was that conversation like?
It was a very collaborative conversation. It was a very good conversation. And he didn't really want to engage on the issues of LA, which was
all racial slurs need to, or no, any slurs at all need to be banned.
was the great irony of this. He wanted to talk about a myriad of other issues. There was no suggestion, none, period, full stop, about the National Guard. Quite the contrary. And by the way, I have a lot of experience with the National Guard. So do you here in LA.
Right.
We've been using the National Guard. I've directed the National Guard down here prior as it relates to issues during 2020 riots. And so we have no ideological opposition of utilizing the Guard, but there's zero necessity. There was no request of mutual aid. LAPD, the sheriff's office, no.
Why do you think they didn't? Why do you think nobody called for aid? Why do you think none of these offices called the governor? Why do you think that Donald Trump should be making the decision from a UFC fight? He's not watching any of this unfold. He's sitting. I was watching the UFC fights. It was sad. I didn't want Merab to win. I was sitting there watching the fights. I watched Trump walk in. I watched him paying attention to the fights. Nobody called for the National Guard. No, nobody. And Trump just like, I'm the king, so I'm sending in the National Guard. Nobody needed him. It was under control.
Request. CHP, more than capable. We've got 175 CHP off today because of what Donald Trump did with the National Guard.
But we see some of the images in the streets today. We see cars burning. We see freeways being shut down. We see
unacceptable.
But it's clear that things aren't totally under control right now.
That's right, because he's created the conditions.
Yeah.
He's exacerbated the conditions. This is Donald Trump's. These are images that Donald Trump created.
You think he wants it politically?
Of course he wants it politically.
Why?
Because he wants to divide us.
I don't agree with that. I think he's wrong. Trump wants control. Now listen, this was all predicted. You say whatever you want. Like Drew, and I see Drew in there. Drew's pissing people off. Drew, you used to have the guts to go up and defend your positions. You didn't used to just sit in lives and chat. You used to have the guts to do that. I miss that. I miss the Drew that was willing to stand up business. Donald Trump has every intention to be a fascist, to be a dictator. And the problem with all of this is that Trump makes a lot of people mad, and Trump escalating these tensions will lead to escalation. There are going to be people who commit acts of violence against ICE, against the police. We've already seen some of it in California, and Trump will fan the flames. Because the one thing, if you've read Trump's book, and this is the danger of electing somebody like Trump, he has told you his entire life that the only principle he seems to abide by is never back down, never apologize, never lose. And not bad advice if you're like playing a basketball game. Not bad advice in like business. Not bad life advice to keep fighting. But he applies it to everything. So when you see people on the left stand up to him, his only response is to crush them. And he's a pussy, by the way. He's a complete and total bitch. His family moved here. I don't know if you know the history of the Trump bitch-ass family. His bitch-ass family moved here to avoid being conscripted into the military. And then once he was here, they figured out ways to avoid their family being conscripted into the military, avoiding the draft. Donald Trump always has been and always will be a thin-skinned bully bitch. He's just a bitch, but he talks real tough, especially when he has the military behind him. And then he's filled his entire cabinet full of unqualified loyalists like Pete Hegseth, unqualified loyalists like Kristi Noem, unqualified loyalists like Tom Homan. People who are just as sick as he is and who will not back down, and they see that as a virtue. And MAGA sees it as a virtue too. And it's a cool virtue if they're fighting a real fight. But the fight you're talking about right now is the U.S. government fighting its own citizens. The military fighting its own citizenry when they don't need to be there. Nobody asked them to show up. There wasn't even a problem that they needed to solve. But they do show up, and they escalate, and they escalate, and they escalate, and then it pisses people off, and the people respond, and you guys on the right will be like, see, fuck yeah, get them, big government, take out the citizenry, yeah, I love it. All you Second Amendment, I'd love to see the government turn on me. We have guns because of tyranny. Hey, don't say mean things to our government. How dare you stand out there and protest in front of them? Be a cuck. You're supposed to be a cuck. When did you guys all become such little bootlicking bitches for the government? guys, if the government tells you that you have to do something, you can't even protest. Just stay in your houses and don't do anything about it. How dare you go out there and protest the big wonderful government, the big beautiful government? I'm telling you, you don't have fucking principles. You're just bitches for Donald Trump. We love him so much. We love that draft dodging bitch. We love that guy. His whole life, every time he loses a negotiation, he takes people to court and he sues them just like a big tough man. When he gets caught lying, he just tells you that he didn't lie. Wow, what a guy. He's a bitch. And you guys are bitches. That's what we got. Like, change the hat. Just change the hat to like cucked out bitches. Yeah, more government, harder.
He wants to attack the rule of law. He wants to attack the democracy. He wants to.
Oh, by the way, and you're the same people like, I will turn on the government in an instant if they make me wear a mask. This is tyranny. Then you'd see this. You see actual tyranny, and you're like, no, this isn't so bad. But they did tell me that I needed to wear a mask if I went into public. Now they're telling you, yeah, okay.
To attack the best of what makes this country. The reasons our founding fathers lived and died. This fundamental notion of three independent branches, he can't handle. He's already taken over. And Speaker Johnson's a joke. He's completely complicit. $2.5 trillion to your debt, wrecking the economy. Take Elon Musk comments on that.
Isn't it weird how deficit hawk Mike Johnson, small government Mike Johnson, Christian conservative Mike Johnson, all of a sudden became a total and complete cuck after those conversations about his leaked Grindr messages came out. Remember that? And now all of a sudden he's like, no, this is good. We like big spending bills that aren't paid for. Yeah, this is good. Remember that?
It's not mine. I mean, this has been a disastrous presidency. And so, of course, we're here with another distraction that puts, in this case, people's lives at risk. And he's testing the boundaries of the Constitution in a way that one can clearly argue is a constitutional crisis.
So how do you negotiate with somebody who may want these images?
You can't negotiate with them. Come on, no one can negotiate with him. I mean, no one can. I've gone out of great lengths to try to work with this guy. You can't work with him. You can only work for him, and I'll never work for him. And it's shameful, those that are, and that are complicit in this, and they're rolling over. And as I said, founding fathers are rolling over in their graves right now watching this.
Yeah, they didn't know we would be taken over completely and totally by like a draft dodging, spoon-fed titty baby. Our founding fathers probably never thought that we would all be duped by this fucking idiot. Somebody's asking about Mike Johnson's messages. I'll try and find them.
Do you, because the other night, or he came out and said that when you guys spoke, he warned you that if you didn't get things under control, he was going to bring in troops.
Stone cold liar. Stone cold liar. He made that up, like he makes up so many other things. He never said that.
And also, we know when he would have said it, he was at the fights, so didn't say it.
And he also seemed to make up this idea that the National Guard did a great job last night when they weren't here.
They weren't even deployed, and he claimed victory. He's lost it. He hasn't lost a step. And I saw him trip on the steps today. I mean, this is serious. He is not the same person that I dealt with just 4 years ago. And he's incapable now of even a train of thought. He's making things up, and he's putting people's lives at risk. And he's got a band of people that are complicit in this. And
I think that's one of the parts we need to discuss. Let's play a little game here. First person, I want a date in the, somebody in the chat, just give me a date that has happened this year. I want just a specific day and a specific hour. So give me like May 4th, 4 p.m. And while we're playing this, I'm gonna pull a transcript from what Trump said on a certain day, the closest I can come, and I'm gonna read it out loud, and you're gonna tell me if it made any fucking sense. Donald Trump is incoherent. He does not utter sentences that make any sense. The only people that think he makes sense are the people who are in the cult. So I'm looking in the chat. All right, April 20th at 6:20 p.m. All right, got it. I'll look for that.
What's so damn alarming? And we need Congress to step up, and my gosh, do we need the courts.
But now that the National Guard are here, is there some good that they can do? I mean, those folks, there's a lot of great folks
They haven't even been mission tacked appropriately. Yeah. There's only 300 of them.
Is there anything they can do to help you?
These are great men and women. Yeah. I work with them all the time. They've been well received by the community down here. We know these folks. We care about these folks. And I worry about them now. I worry about their safety. He's putting their safety at risk. He doesn't know what he's doing. They don't know what they're doing right now. I mean, I got the CRT teams, like I said, the best and the brightest CHP that are trained for this. By the way, if you're going to use the right National Guard, use the MPs that were out there doing the work here in terms of logistics and traffic management.
Right.
But he didn't even use that
For the fires.
those folks for the fires.
Right.
I mean, this proves it's just political game that puts people's lives at risk. So it's not a game.
I assume that you believe in immigration law and that there needs to be a way for these folks to carry out some
We
of
have
these.
never gone the way. State of California does not get in the way of federal actions using federal resources. I've also collaborated with the federal government and vetoed bills that would compel me not to over 10,000 times. 10,000 times from CDCR. We've coordinated with ICE on deportation. I am not sitting here arguing for criminals in our backyard. And I just want to remind your viewers, we have 394 National Guard down at the border that I've had there for years and years and years. Of course, we believe in immigration rules and laws. And of course, we were very vocal on the issue of borders. I think you and I went down 4 or 5 times on the border in events over the last 5 years. We were not passive in this space.
But when we have seen agitators getting in the way of some of these ICE agents who are trying to do their job.
Okay, these are anarchists.
What should happen to them?
They should be arrested.
Yeah.
They should be called out. We condemn that destruction of personal property. These groups come in that have nothing to do.
Does this sound like libs saying that violence is okay? See, again, in order for you guys' argument to ever make any sense, you have to lie about what our position is every fucking time. What is he saying right now? This is the governor of California saying we don't condemn the violence. Those who are committing violence will be prosecuted. We're saying the same shit you're saying. And you're saying that shit in order to justify your actions, but we're on the same page. So your actions only make sense if our real position is we like crime. We want people hurting police officers. We want people looting, which nobody is saying. But that's the game that MAGA plays with you guys. It's the game this is how they convince you to support such dumb fucking things. Is they tell you what we believe is even dumber. We don't believe that. You can hear Gavin Newsom right here. Gavin Newsom has had troops at the border for years. He's been helping the country with border patrol for years. He's been down at the border. They've changed laws in California, some of them unpopular with progressives in California. But the only way for you to justify the sheer amount of force and what am I trying to say? Like unconstitutional activity is to say that we're crazy. And so you can justify it. And that's what your whole life is when you're in MAGA. They do something crazy. And then they tell you that the reason they're doing something crazy is because somebody else is doing something even more crazy when none of that is happening. But you're too fucking stupid to figure it out. Maybe lazy. I don't know what it is. Do you guys ever, honest to God, do you ever hear what somebody on MAGA tells you and just go look it up? Like, who is saying this? And then find me the example, by the way. Find me the California leaders, either member of Congress or state legislature, who are saying, we like this rioting, we like the violence, keep it up. Find one of them. You won't find it. What you might find is like some guy on the internet that's like, we're going to fuck these police up. And you'll be like, see, that's the left. You find the craziest person on the left, and then you apply that principle. And we do it too. We find the craziest people on your side, and we apply that principle and say, look, this is what conservatives are about. The difference is the craziest people that we can find are in office. They're your president. They're the Marjorie Taylor Greens. Our crazy people don't get elected. Yours do. So it works on our end because it's legitimately what your people are doing.
To do with these peaceful protesters, these poor peaceful protesters. These guys come in to take advantage of these moments, and that's exactly what we knew would happen. That's exactly what Trump knew was going to happen. That's exactly what his team knows. They helped create these conditions to inflame them. This is Donald Trump's mess. What you see in your nightly news is Donald Trump's making, and we've got to clean up this mess. If he can't do it, we're going to have to do it.
It was interesting. A statement you put out reminded me. I'm reading Jonathan Ives' book about Martin Luther King, and he always tried to tell people, protest peacefully. You're throwing, basically you said that if you go out and do violence at this point, you're giving Donald Trump what he wants.
You're handing it to him. So stop. These guys, these idiots that are jumping up on cars, that are burning these Waymos, These people, that's a disgrace.
Idiots. He's calling the criminals idiots. See, but in order for you to justify what Trump's doing, you have to say that Gavin Newsom wants this to happen, right? You have to say that he's doing nothing about it, and so Trump had to step in. You're always being lied to. You're always being gaslit. And ask yourself why. Like, why? Why are you being gaslit? Why are they telling you that we're all? Have you heard anybody here supporting that? Have I played any clip of anybody that's supporting crime? No. Nobody's out here supporting crime. You guys elected a criminal, though. If we're going to talk about supporting crime, let's talk about the fact that your president is a convicted felon. And that the thing that seemed to make you the most upset is when we used the law against him. You hate the law. The FBI is corrupt. The DOJ is corrupt. Every time Donald Trump gets in trouble. Then when people commit crimes and people on our side are like, you shouldn't do that. You're like, that's not what they really believe. What they really believe, they just aren't saying. But really, they just want the crime to happen.
And the impact they're having on our democracy, there's a lot at risk here. I mean, this is not just a simple act of disobedience. They should be arrested. They should be held accountable. Anyone who attacks any innocent person, including a law enforcement person that's lawfully doing their job, they're members of our community just like everybody else. They go to the same churches. They're good human beings. And you know, just because we don't like Donald Trump, just because we don't like their orders, doesn't mean you have the right to hurt or harm people. And that goes for them as well. And we'll hold up everybody to a higher level of accountability. But that's not what Trump is after. He's not for peacemaking. He's here for war. He wants a civil war on the streets of America, not just here. He's testing the boundaries by nationalizing the federal guard. Heck, his own great Kristi Noem was just a year ago sitting there with newsmaker.
Yeah, I love this. Jeffrey, the crimes he committed were misdemeanors, not felonies, except for they were felonies. By the way, is crossing the border a felony or a misdemeanor? Jeffrey McCullough. Let's see how well your standards hold out here. Jeffrey McCullough, talking to you. The crimes he committed were misdemeanors, not felonies. They weren't. They were felonies. But now, I need you to answer the question, Jeffrey. Is crossing the border illegally a misdemeanor or is it a felony? I'm going to guess Jeffrey doesn't know the answer to that question. Jeffrey, it's a misdemeanor. So Trump doesn't need to be held accountable, but people who committed a misdemeanor of crossing the border should be hunted down and kidnapped by ICE and ripped from their family? Does your logic, just out of curiosity, does your logic hold sound there? Jeffrey. You guys didn't like the prosecution against Trump because it was a misdemeanor, even though it wasn't. They were elevated because they were in furtherance of a felony, but let's just pretend they were for misdemeanors. He didn't go to jail for that. You don't think he was guilty of that. You thought it was unfair. But if you commit a misdemeanor and you're an immigrant, do you see why we think you might be racist? Do you see why? Do you see why we think this might not be about law and order? Yeah, he's going crooked judge on it. Exactly. You're not going to answer this question. You, like all your other MAGA friends, are dumb and you're bitches. Even when you get caught, and it's very clear that you don't hold one standard across the board, then you just run. You won't answer the question. You guys do the same thing every fucking day. And I don't know if you're too stupid to get it or if like you're just willfully ignorant. But yeah, if you cross the border illegally, you are a criminal. If you commit misdemeanors, you're a criminal then. So is Trump a criminal, Jeffrey? Nah, it was a corrupt judge. Well, did the judge say that he was guilty or did the jury? It was the jury. Was the jury all against Trump? No, there were two MAGA on it. Why did those two MAGA? See, we could do this all day. You guys don't have principles. You stand for nothing. You just take Trump's dick and you stuff it down your throat every fucking day. You support nothing. Don't call. See, you still won't answer it. None of you have principles. You're just dick riding cucks. Every one of you.
Sean Hannity saying it's outrageous.
Strange how violence always increases when Trump is in. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? How violent things get when Trump is in. First go around, second go around. Oh, but it's always everybody else's fault, right? Amy said, I still think the best evidence is the last debate. Read the transcripts. Biden was more with it than Trump. That's true. He just didn't sound as confident. April 4th. I did find the April 4th transcript. I'm trying to find, it said they would have the transcript, but it's all audio. So I'm trying to find the written transcript of it. So we'll keep going.
Just that Biden is considering nationalizing the Guard in my great state. Kristi Noem, the same Kristi Noem, saying, what about state sovereignties and state rights? And where the hell is Hannity now? Where the hell is Kristi Noem? They're out there just singing the siren songs of chaos, trying to sow chaos and putting our democracy at risk. These are acts of authoritarians. Period, full stop.
Oh my God, I just figured out what's happening. I just realized this. This is why. You guys remember how the White House recently said they're not going to provide transcripts anymore? This website used to give me transcripts. If I go back, I can find transcripts from everybody. I just realized why. All right. You just tell me what he's saying here. I'm not going to show you what he's saying. What's Trump talking about here?
President Trump. It's very sad. He's having a hard time, so obviously you see what the end result is. But he was a good man. He worked very hard. He loved the world. He really did. He loved the world. So it's an honor to mention. It's an honor when flags of the country, as you know, have been taken to half-mast. And they'll be that way for about 4 days.
Anybody? Can't even read the transcripts anymore. It was the Pope. There we go. We were talking about the Pope.
So what you're saying and what he's saying, very heated rhetoric. How do we cool this down? How do we get things to calm down? How do we get the streets at this point to be safe?
Donald Trump needs to rescind his order, period. And then we need to go back to a
you weren't sure it was Jimmy Carter
process where we peacefully protest, where law enforcement peacefully organizes safe parameters of engagement, or at least parameters of engagement that keep people safe. That federal authorities have the right to enforce federal laws, but in a way that can be at least coordinated so that it's not chaotic and that keeps families together and goes after the criminals, not innocent people that are just trying to live their damn lives and just trying to get their kids educated.
What do you say to critics who say you may have poked the bear by threatening to withhold California's tax money?
This was after he said he was going for a full-scale attack on the university system and cutting NSF money and cutting NIH funding, poking the bear. Are you kidding me? He's standing up.
What do you mean poking the bear? Yeah, this is the thing. Like, this is how far how used to Trump we are. They're like, well, don't you think that you really caused this by telling him that you would use your powers as the governor to try and stand up for your universities? Don't you think you should have just gone along with it? Don't you think that maybe you deserve this because you told Trump no? That's the question that a real reporter in America just asked. Don't you think that, like, obviously these two things aren't related, but they're like, well, you do have to be careful. You know, you don't want to make him mad because this is the type of stuff that he'll do. And that's not crazy to any of you? That's a real question we have to ask. And reporters don't even feel weird asking it. Like, we're just used to Trump reacting like a baby. And if you do something, he's like, I'm going to hit back harder. All right. He was just doing something for his state. And the reason that you guys are cool with it is because you think that everybody else should live like you. That you should just do whatever Trump says. And whatever Trump says should go. And that he should rule by executive order. And that we shouldn't have laws. And that the laws should be whatever Trump says the laws are. And you get upset when somebody doesn't do it. So now you're like, yeah, Gavin Newsom should have just done what Trump said. And then maybe Trump would be cooler. Or Trump could just not be a fucking psycho. He could handle disagreements like a human being. Like an adult. He could do that too. But even you guys know that he's not adult enough to handle this stuff. You all know that he's a toddler. So when somebody pushes back against him like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, he's going to go crazy. Everybody knows. If you tell Trump no, he goes batshit crazy. He will hit you back harder. We all know that. That's what a crazy person does. Not a good leader. Since when does a good leader do that? That's only a good leader if you're like just a cuck.
Up for principles, standing up for honor and decency, standing up for the rule of law, poking the bear. Come on.
And lastly, there's a lot of people who are scared right now, especially a lot of people who are Latino who are here legally, who are worried they may be taken away. That's a huge percentage of California's population.
Well, I mean, it goes to 40% of the population.
What do you say?
We're a majority minority state, 27% of the state's foreign born, all these mixed status families.
What's your message to those people today?
They matter and we care. And that's why we're being so aggressive right now, pushing back against these authoritarian tendencies of Donald Trump. That's why we're standing tall with 22 lawsuits. That's why we did a special session. And you guys, many of you called me out as it's too extreme. Shouldn't you be working with Donald Trump during his transition when I called that special session? And we've used those resources to file over 22 lawsuits. We're filing more as we speak. And then included, by the way, $50 million that we set aside, or $25 million specifically for legal aid to help these families. So we had their back because we knew something would happen. But I got to say, I never expected Donald Trump to do this.
All right. Look, MAGA in the chat, you guys are getting worse at this. I get it. You've called me a crybaby for 3 hours now. It's time. It's time to address It's time to address an argument, isn't it? Isn't it about time you guys addressed an argument? For a bunch of people who say all I ever do is cry, you sure sit in the comments a lot. You have the ability to come up here and talk and prove anything I said wrong. I think that I think you don't have an argument. That's why you guys sit in the comments and just talk about crying. Jen, I'll add these up. Welcome back.
Yeah, lots of crying today. Lots of it. All right, so we've got about 45 minutes left of the show. So let me mute my other thing so I can hear. I don't hear myself in the background. No, I'm hearing myself. I'm hearing myself. So.
I'll read these real quick. Jessica said, fuck Donald Trump. Michelle says, I'm screaming, laughing. You're on one today. Thank you. I'm frustrated. I don't like the cuckery. And then the other one is Brianna said, hey, hey, MAGA, how does Trump's catheter taste? And arachnophobia is so stupid. Just let the spiders get married already. That's a good point. That's a really good point there.
Gross. That was gross.
How about it, Jeff?
Anyways, so we've got about 45 minutes left of the show. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. That top left-hand corner, the corner that RTP is updating the number, is the remaining balance of our gift goal. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking out that gift goal. So if you guys could help finish that off, Jay really likes when that's finished off.
Usually it's a lot quicker than this.
Yeah, it usually doesn't take that long. So, you guys could do better. But if you haven't already subscribed to us, you can do on all three platforms. We've got TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. On Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime sub. I want to remind you guys that if you have subscribed over there before with your Amazon Prime sub, you have to do it each month. So if you did it before, it doesn't automatically renew. And no, Sean or Sarah, it's not begging. It's called crowdfunding. And people like us to be here. And so that's why we do this. So I'm a great time. But anyway, if you guys disagree, how you can do that is you look at the Venmo username. That is my Discord. You can DM me on Discord and I can bring you up to talk in real time. On YouTube, you can do a free subscription, but also we have 4 different memberships if you'd like to support us that way. And also, if you check out our link tree, we are on most social media platforms, as well as these episodes are updated to uploaded to Spotify, and we have Cameo, so you guys can go check those out. So like I said, about 45 minutes left of the goal. So if you can help us knock out that balance, that'd be great. What do you call a dad that's an amazing swimmer?
I don't know.
A dad pole.
Goddamn right. Thanks, Jen. All right, here's look, if you guys don't understand mushmouth, you may need a little help with this one, but here's Tom Homan, the illiterate ICE chief, who functionally can't form sentences here. I'll interpret while this big dumb fucking moron talks to you about how mad he is at sanctuary states. Like, look, he's just a racist. He just hates immigrants, and he gets mad at anybody who doesn't hate immigrants. That's why you choose somebody like Tom Homan. Listen to him mush his way through this sentence here about and just openly say, like, this is about retribution. We don't like when states have the rights to. The states' rights crowd's real fucking quiet. We don't think states have rights. So now we're going to come down and we're going to use the federal government as daddy to come down and take away your state's rights.
Is everyone that has been arrested by ICE agents have a criminal record like those you've described?
Absolutely not. And I said from day one, January 20th, we will prioritize public safety threats and national security.
If you didn't hear him, he said they're which means prioritizing public safety threats. It's hard. I'm going to have to translate a lot. This is like a foreign language, but I speak moron.
And national security threats. However, we will enforce law. I may prioritize my family life over my...
They will prioritize law. That's what he said.
Over my work. Doesn't mean I ignore my work. We're going to force the immigration law. We've been honest about that from day one, especially in sanctuary cities where we can't get the bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. They release him to the street. Well, we got to go to the...
What bad guys? You keep raiding workplaces. You fucking bitch. We're getting the bad guys. Where are they? They're at work. And they're and at court. All the bad guys are at work and at court. That's where we find most of the bad guys. All of these white nationalists that they've co-opted into ICE, they're all such pussies. They're not going after the bad guys. They're afraid of the bad guys. So they're just going after people who kind of look like the bad guys. And they're finding them at court and at work, and they're pretending that they're keeping our nation safer. And they're not. They're just cowards. And they're like, I don't really want to go into the neighborhoods where the gang neighborhoods. I don't want to go after the violent criminals because that makes me scared. So what if we just grab mothers and rip them from the arms of their children on the street instead? Or what if we go to court where somebody took a day off work and came in to try and make sure they were legal? Or what about we just go to their workplace where they're working? That's the real threat to America. The real threat to America is mediocre old white dudes who were never tough and still aren't tough, talking tough, but not being tough. Go fix the fucking problem. If you're taking down gangbangers and if you're taking down cartels and if you're taking down human trafficking, go fucking do it. That shit's not happening at the courthouse. That shit's not happening at the workplace. It seems an awful lot to me like you hired a bunch of bitches to work for you. And so you're like, we're going to go to the sanctuary cities where they don't even arrest people for just working. We're going to get them. We'll show them. No, you're just a bitch. All of you. This whole administration is just a bunch of bitch boys hiding behind the military, pretending that they're tough. But they don't want to do the real work. They don't want to do the hard work. They don't want to go and infiltrate gangs. They don't want to stop human trafficking. They don't want to stop drug trafficking. Why? Because they're afraid. What's Tom Homan going to do? Slightly jog away? Who the fuck's going to be afraid of this guy? He's 70 years old. He's 80 pounds overweight and he can't understand a fucking word he says. Of course he's going for the low-hanging fruit. Of course he's showing up at workplaces and at courthouses. Because above all of these people, what racists are almost exclusively above all is cowards. Every one of them are just cowards. That's why they're racist in the first place, because they don't want to address real issues. They just want to blame all the problems on somebody based on how they look, because they're not that intelligent, and they're not that tough, and they're not that bright. And so the only way for somebody as mediocre and stupid as Tom Homan to be successful is to go to places where there's not going to be pushback. And now that he's getting a little pushback, he's like, Donald, can you please call the National Guard? There's people standing in front of our trucks. And Trump's like, yeah, I'll do it. These guys, these are the biggest bunch of bitches. They were yelling at me. Somebody threw a Coke bottle at me. Send in the military. Maybe you shouldn't have that job. Maybe you shouldn't be the person that's rounding people up if you're afraid of a Coke bottle being thrown at you and you need the military to defend you. Maybe you're not that tough. Maybe the reason that all your plainclothes officers are in courtrooms is because there's no weapons allowed in there. And nobody's going to fight you in a court. But on the street, in the gang neighborhoods, you might get into a little squabble, won't you? So you're not going to the gang neighborhoods. You're going to the workplace.
Street and find them. And when we find them, many times they're with others. Others are in the United States illegally, may not be a criminal target, but guess what? If ICE is there, the rest of that bad guy, the other aliens are there, we're going to arrest them. That's what sanctuary cities get.
Everybody knows that the dangerous criminals are hanging out at work and at courtrooms, and that's why they're rounding them all up, and they're all together. Gang members generally run around with like other people who are just working. They hide in plain sight. That's what they're finding.
Put us in the neighborhood, take force in the neighborhood. This is what happens.
You're not in the neighborhoods. You're not doing a lot of work in the neighborhoods. You're doing a lot of work from the comfort of a courtroom. I saw buy illegals. Yeah, like you're the same thing, G Fuel. You're kind of a little bitch too. Go fight the gangs, G Fuel. All you guys that are in here, they're like, let's take down the cartels. Go do it. ICE is hiring. They're handing out bonuses. Homeland Security's hiring. They're handing out bonuses. Border Patrol's hiring. They're handing out bonuses. What are you doing? Go take care of those bad guys with all your courage. G Fuel's got to be muted for a while for spamming the same dumb shit over and over. Good try, G Fuel. We mute for dumb people here. Lars says, appreciate you, RTP. Thank you. Also, Sophia said, after today, I have terrible MAGA fatigue. Christina said, Jay, you're awesome. Please keep up the work. Don't let MAGA deter you from what's good and righteous. I don't care. I enjoy MAGA, honestly. It's a bit predictable at this point, but I think that's what makes it fun. Part of the fun is knowing exactly what they're going to say before they say it, and then they still say it anyways, because they actually they don't really know what to do when you call out their answers before they get to them, so they just repeat them. It's actually become one of my favorite games. All right, there was Mushmouth. Here's Sneeko. For some reason, Sneeko decided to go down there. If any of you guys don't know Sneeko is a live streamer who is just like a shock jock, and these are the people that Sneeko was canceled. A lot of these streamers, they were doing fucked up things. They were taking illegal money. They were running online they were running ads for casinos where the casino would just give them an unlimited bankroll, so it looked like they were spending millions of dollars, and they would get all of their supporters to go out and spend all of their hard-earned money at a rigged casino, and then they all got kicked off of YouTube and Twitch, and so most of them are on Kick now. That's where Sneeko is, and naturally, because they're criminals and because they get canceled, they find themselves on the right. And listen to Sneeko give you the same dumbass argument that you'll hear from Republicans all day without understanding any of it. This guy right here in the green shirt is somebody who I think he might have come here illegally, but now as a citizen, at least his parents came here illegally, and some of his family citizens. Listen to Sneeko trying to debate immigration. He went down there to debate immigration. He has no clue what he's talking about.
He wanted to ask if you're a U.S. citizen.
I'm Gen Z. I was born in 1998.
I'm saying, how many generations are you from your descendant? You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad was born in a different country. He came here legally. He went through the legal process. Okay. I believe in legal. Legally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what,
Which, by the way, most of the people who came here during the Biden administration, 90% of them came here legally under asylum laws and asylum claims. Even if they're not granted asylum, they are here legally, which I'm guessing, I don't know where Sneeko's family's from, but I'm guessing it's something like that.
Visa, work permit?
He has a passport. He's an American citizen now.
No, but what did he come over here with? A passport, a visa, a work permit?
It was a student visa, then it transformed over years, then became work visa, then a passport, and now he's a U.S. citizen.
And he did all that legally?
All legally. My mom was born here.
Your mom was born here?
My parents are illegal.
He's lying.
I'm kidding.
See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm kidding.
I know. No, that's fine. But look, this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So we right here, my parents came illegally, right?
Okay. Yeah.
My dad, my mom, hey, Mom, I love you. She's still illegal. I'm trying to fix her papers. We've been trying to fix her papers. Her papers got denied over and over.
You got to go quick.
My dad, it's over. My mom's already...
You got to go quick. Yeah, you can't. It's just, you got to do it quick. We're trying.
80 years old. She's good. She said, you know what, it is what it is. We tried. My dad, he's legal, right? He got all his paper and his permit. Yeah. But they both been working here legally and illegally and paying taxes. Mm-hmm. So we're not, all of us are not harming the country. You understand that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, fine. Get the people that are fucking up this country, that are messing up this country.
You can say what you want, man.
I get that 1,000%, man. There is a lot of criminals that come here and do crazy shit to this country. Right. But does the majority, I want to say 80%, I wouldn't say 80%, are coming here and actually doing things legally until they become U.S. citizens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. A lot of these people are good citizens. I'm sure your parents are. they still committed a crime by coming here illegally. By definition, they're still criminals.
A lot of them do. A lot of people do and become senators or whatever. You know what I mean?
And that's why there's too much. That's why you see people doing fentanyl on the street. When you open up the borders to everybody.
Don't blame that on Mexico.
Now we've got a problem. And this is where every one of them, and this is you guys, this is why you guys won't come up here. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Fentanyl is almost exclusively an American problem, and it comes almost exclusively through ports of entry. It has almost nothing to do with illegal immigration. It is not being smuggled over on the backs of people who are being trafficked. It's not the people that march through the wilderness for 20 days to come to the border. It's almost exclusively coming in via boat, airplane, or vehicles. And those vehicles are driven almost exclusively by American citizens, between 80 and 90%, depending on what numbers you're looking at. It is not an illegal immigration concern. Again, what Sneeko did there that didn't work is the same flawed logic that you guys have. And I think that the reason that you have a flawed logic is when you say this to your Republican friends, they all go, yep, exactly. And you never wind up challenging your position with anybody who knows anything. If we're going to say that everybody who came here illegally needs to be prosecuted, then we've got to either change it from a misdemeanor, or we also need to start prosecuting all the misdemeanors. Those people just stopped in the middle of the street. That's probably a misdemeanor. That was probably a traffic violation. Should we get them? What about if you what if you walked across there, you went jaywalking? Should you get them? Has Sneeko ever got a speeding ticket? How about when Sneeko was illegally taking money from offshore casinos and promoting gambling, which is illegal in the state that he was in, and promoting gambling with an illegal crypto casino? Was that a crime? Sneeko's family came here as immigrants, and here he is committing crimes. Should he be removed? Is that I would argue that Sneeko's crimes have hurt way more people than anybody who just walks across the border. It's ironic to watch a criminal be like, yeah, dude, we got to get rid of the criminals.
I'm not blaming. I never said Max. Okay, it's the open borders. It's the relaxed immigration policies.
I get that. I understand that 100%, man. But that's never going to change. You know that.
It is changing, actually. There's 1,000 people. There's 1,000 people getting deported a day right now.
It's not changing. We're deporting people at a lower pace, and we're not addressing any of our immigration laws. So it's not changing. It's not better. That's the craziest part about all of this, is that we still have Republicans like, you guys, this is Trump's America, we're deporting. You're deporting less people, and you're just doing it more violently. That's why we say we think it's the violence that you guys like. It's the masturbatory way that you celebrate this shit. If this was about efficiency, you would look back at Biden, you would look back at Obama, and you'd be like, oh, they were far more efficient. But he's not efficient. Trump's isn't efficient. It's just violent, and it's in your face. So it's not changing. But Sneeko doesn't know, because Sneeko makes millions of dollars by lying to incels that it's women and immigrants that are fucking up your shit. Not the fact that you're a fucking loser. Not the fact that, like, you have no game. Not the fact that everybody doesn't like being around you, including probably your own family. You're alone for a reason, and it has nothing to do with women or immigrants. But Sneeko wants your money, so Sneeko's going to tell you it's women and it's immigrants. It's never your fault. It's not your fault that you're a fucking asshole. It's not your fault that you're not funny. Like, you're just recycling jokes that you heard on YouTube from 30 years ago that stopped being funny. It's never giving you advice like that. They're just going to blame immigrants and women all the time.
1,000 more coming in. That's always going to, it's a rotating door, just like prison. That's never going to change. Prison inmates go in and out all the time. That's the same thing.
Are you comparing America to a prison?
No.
Notice when we had Sneeko come in here, we get a bunch of insults or a bunch of incels with the same lame ass gay jokes that you've done forever. Dude, your gay jokes aren't funny. It's like, does your boyfriend identify as a man? I bet that fucking killed in 4th grade. I bet that joke fucking killed at 4th grade. Or like your dad. Your dad probably laughs at that joke too. But like, you go anywhere outside of the other morons that you work with, nobody thinks you're funny. These jokes suck. If you're going to make gay jokes, make them funny. At the very least, make them funny. Make them original. You're just using the same jokes from 30 years ago. Like, they stopped being funny. My bad. Be better. I'm sure that joke killed on Reddit when all your other incel buddies are like, nice one, and they put up like a Pepe the Frog. You're like, ha, nobody understands our humor. We're so funny that nobody else thinks we're funny except for this group of dudes bragging about how long it's been since they masturbated. It's cool.
I'm comparing the prison to the border.
Okay, America has, in 2 weeks since Trump came back, we've had the strongest border. We've had the strongest border that we had. Biden, it was 4 years of open borders. I live in New York. They had hotels for illegal immigrants.
And that's a lie. That didn't, right? Remember when that guy called and he was like, I was just in Chicago and I was staying at this hotel and it was full of illegal immigrants. There was 300 illegal immigrants. And we called the hotel live on air and the lady just started laughing. She's like, first of all, no. And second of all, we only have 110 rooms. Like, we don't have 300 rooms. And then the guy just hung up and he was out. This is just another, like, Sneeko is captured. I think, truthfully, I think that there is a lot of money that has been spent to capture audiences like Sneeko's. Have you ever wondered why a bunch of people who have never known anything about politics all repeat the same, 12 fucking lies over and over? Like, this dude is so fucking generic. Remember that, like, on 8 Mile, I think Eminem says something like, don't come back until something dope hits you here. You can take the microphone home with you. Like, this is generic. He doesn't have anything of his own. This is just something that somebody told him, and he stands there confidently and says it. This is as generic as, like, the worst debaters on TikTok. If you're a Republican, you were on TikTok, and this was your representation, all of the Republicans would be like, we got to get this fucking moron out of here because he's too generic. He's just saying shit that all of us know aren't true, but he doesn't, he's never learned that. Because Sneeko, before anything else, he's just an attention whore.
Your channel?
Yeah.
For 4 years.
I would love to see that.
And I'm going to see what happens.
We've had a better 2 weeks for immigration than the past 4 years.
Okay. So that's right now.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see, like I said.
First of all, I wish this guy knew, but, Sneeko's wrong. We're not deporting more people. We're just being more violent. We're just recording it more. And we're not getting more violent criminals. We're getting workers. They're both somehow wrong here, but this is what you get. And by the way, tens of thousands of people probably watch this stream. And they'll just go repeat that same shit.
I'm going to wait 4 years.
Yep.
And I'm going to see what happens in 4 years.
Well, stuff like this.
Wait and see what happens
stuff
in 4
like this
years.
protest is not helping that. Stuff like the protest
fine.
is helping illegal immigration.
Well, come up and tell me what's generic then, right? If you think I'm just repeating lines, one, I don't think you have any clue who I am, and two, then come tell me what I'm saying is wrong. I just explained that was wrong. Come tell me about it. All right. Where's this one? Then we get Trump he starts getting crazy. Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bash should apologize to the people of Los Angeles for the absolutely horrible job that they have done, and this now includes the ongoing LA riots. These are not protesters. They are troublemakers and insurrectionists. Remember, no mask. You know this word? Insurrectionists? They're using that word now so they can use the Insurrection Act, while also pardoning Jan 6 insurrectionists, saying they weren't insurrectionists. Who is doing an insurrection? Who in Los Angeles is doing an insurrection? Crime? Sure. Is there some assault? Yeah. Is there some theft? Yes. Insurrection? Isn't insurrection when you attack the government? I don't know if you stormed the Capitol? Get used to hearing the word insurrection from a bunch of people who have been saying forever that Jan 6 wasn't an insurrection. They're going to use it because they're going to use the Insurrection Act. And they're going to condition you to believe that this is an insurrection. So I haven't watched any news from the right yet today, but I guarantee you if I go on right now, in fact, if I go to Twitter, we type in insurrection, let's see what comes up. I'm going to guess that we're going to have two things. We're going to have a bunch of lefties talking about how the right is using the word insurrection now after January 6th, and you have a bunch of right-wingers talking about insurrection. Let's see. It's mostly so far Jan 6th. Let me see if I can find any right-wingers. Vance called it an invasion. Stephen Miller is saying it's an insurrection because there's no American flags in sight. Yeah, dude, stop. Why do you guys go everywhere with a flag, by the way? Who else do we have here? Okay. Yeah. Just like it's always predictable. Oh, my live visibility is restricted again. Thank you for everybody over on TikTok. Where was the rest of Trump here? And then he says this. Let me move this logo down. Arrest everybody with a mask. Does that include the ICE agents, out of curiosity? We're just going to arrest everybody that's wearing a mask? This isn't like just like a guy. This is the president. He's in charge of the National Guard that he just sent in. This is this an order? Arrest the people in face masks now. Nothing out of you guys? Now you got to go to jail if you're wearing a mask? Now, find me another president who ever said some dumb shit like that. Find me one. Arrest people wearing a certain type of clothing, please. Yeah, he's completely lost it. And look, if you're on the Trump team still, like I don't get. Do you just like being dumb? Is that what it is? Like that's a fucking insane thing to say. Sitting United States president sends in the military and says if somebody's wearing a mask, we're going to arrest them. All right. Is that the Proud Boys too? What about Patriot Front? They keep showing up places in masks. Are they getting arrested too? Or is it just like if it's somebody you think is a lib that wears a mask? Reminder, 20 minutes left. I haven't updated the gift goal. We're probably pretty close, but if you guys want to help us hammer out that gift goal by the end, that would be greatly appreciated. And just a reminder to the Republicans in the chat, you're always welcome up here. You just message Jen, JENNDUBB1 on Discord and pull you up. Everybody can hear you talk. You have all these good points and you're wasting them in the comment section. Doesn't that suck? You could just come up and use your voice. All right. Let me go down past Sneeko. Now, Kristi Noem is pulled up. She's brought up on Face the Nation on CBS. And as the leader of the Department of Homeland Security, I think it's important. And the reason that you would hire somebody like Kristi Noem to run Homeland Security is because she really understands the law. And she understands what it takes to protect the country. And she understands that, like, we have laws on the books and we're supposed to follow the laws. And so CBS is just going to ask her simply, like, what do we do here? Like, what is the specific law here?
President Trump said masks will not be allowed to be worn at protests. Who's going to enforce that and how? And how can you justify it when law enforcement officials have their faces covered?
You know, what I would say is that the law is going to be enforced, and that what the laws are in this country is what we are doing, and our ICE officers and our law enforcement.
The law in this country is what we are doing. The laws are going to be enforced. What are they? They're just what we're doing. What we do is the law. That's legitimately how we've seen her in front of Congress. We saw her in front of Congress say that Abrego Garcia got due process, right? Or that he didn't need due process. Just whatever we do is the law. And this is an acceptable answer for fucking MAGA morons. I don't even get it. Like, even if you don't agree with a word I say, can we not agree that the Department of Homeland Security saying that the law is what we do? Can we not agree that that's tough? And even if you want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say, like, she's trying to say that she's following the law, does it concern you that she can't explain the law to any of you? Does it concern any? Remember when they asked her what was the term that they asked her about? Habeas corpus. And they're like, do you know what habeas corpus is? And she's like, it's a right of the president. And they're like, oh no. Oh no, you don't know what habeas corpus is. It doesn't concern any of you that your DHS secretary is a complete fucking moron? She doesn't know any of the laws, doesn't know what any of these terms mean, and she's supposed to be in charge? That doesn't concern any of you? Like, even if you agree with everything Trump's doing, why do you want such an obvious moron in charge of DHS?
Officers out there that are in these situations where people have questioned why they have their faces covered. It's for the safety of those individuals or the work that they're doing as far as protecting their identity so they can continue to do investigative work. So,
but are you tasking the National Guard soldiers?
You want to talk about dead, broken families? Didn't she just break up her fucking family? Didn't she just do that? Didn't she just cheat on her husband with another member of the Trump administration? You want to talk about broken families? Let's talk about broken families. Talk about Pete Hegseth. You guys can shut the fuck up forever about broken families. How many families does Trump have? How many families does Pete Hegseth have? She just broke up her own family. Yeah, we're cool with it on our side. Like, you guys have sex with whoever you want. You don't have to have a family. But stop pretending you're the party of family values. She just cheated on her husband very publicly. Just broke up the marriage very publicly. What are you talking about?
With removing masks from protesters? I mean, are you trying to use them in that way?
National Guard soldiers are there to provide security for operations and to make sure that we have peaceful protests. So that's what their work is. And I won't get more specific on that just because we never do when it comes to...
We never do. We don't give you any specifics ever, ever, ever. She cheated on her husband with, what was that? I can see his face. What was his name? Does anybody have the name in there? Christy, no. What is his name? Somebody's got to have it. Corey Lewandowski, that's who it was. Yeah. Like, very publicly, just got caught. We're the party of family values. Every one of them. Like Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz. Who is fucking Mike Johnson? He's cheating on his wife with some dude on Grindr. Who in your party is not cheating on their spouse is a better question. And that's fine. I don't care. You're allowed to, like, you can, if you want to cheat on your spouse, cheat on it. But don't also stand in front of a mic and be like, we care about the family. We care about mothers and fathers in the home. We are traditional values. Marriage is between one man and one woman, and then whoever else the man wants to fuck. Those are our true beliefs. Just saying, don't bring up family values around here. I don't care about them. I don't care that Kristi Noem cheated on her husband. It makes no difference to me. And I don't think it's disqualifying to run for office. But it is disqualifying if you're like, we care about the strong nuclear family. That's tough. It's tough to say that. Here's Mike Johnson. He was interviewed now. He's going to be asked about masks too. Suddenly, I mean, I don't know if anything is more scary to Republicans than masks.
From the people who mandated mask wearing for years in America, it's absurd. They need to back off of ICE and respect our agents and stop protesting against them.
You're okay.
But you guys didn't want masks.
Thanks for the sub.
So why are you guys pro-mask? Like, you can't do both. You can't be like, oh, it's ironic that you guys mandated masks and now you don't. Yeah, we're not worried about the ICE agents giving people a disease. We're worried about that we keep seeing ICE agents with like Nazi tattoos and white nationalist tattoos. And the tattoos seem to look a lot like the Proud Boys tattoos. And so we would like to know who these people are that are treating and incorrectly arresting citizens and legal residents and detaining them. We would like to know who they are, but not MAGA. MAGA's like, hey guys, the government doesn't have to tell you who they are or what they're doing. Just trust the government, please. They don't have to give you any information about anything. Just trust them. Let them wear masks. We should never know who the government is. It should just be like this dark group of people who never have to tell us their name or show their faces because freedom.
With these agents sort of not identifying themselves when they're arresting migrants.
Why? So that they can target them? So they can put their names and faces online and dox them? That's what these activists...
Yeah, well, weird, right? Weird. I think that's part of being in the government. If you're doing things that are so unpopular that people want other people to know who you are so that they can they can tie an action to a face, maybe those are bad actions. But not for Republicans. Guys, leave the government alone. Leave the police state alone. They'll never hurt you. They're here to help you. They're here for you. They're here to protect the people. Just trust them implicitly. Don't ask for their identification. Let them do what they want. Just listen to Trump. He's taking care of you. Amy said something funny. Just looked it up. Single-parent households and divorce rate highest in conservative states. I'd imagine marriage is also higher in conservative states. All right, there we go. There's Mike Johnson trying to spin this, and Mike Johnson's just terrified that his wife's going to find out about his Grindr, so he's just saying dumb shit now. Here's Trump saying, like, what is the standard, Mr. Trump? I saw a clip earlier today. I think it was maybe Destiny, but it's a good reminder that if you asked Trump what are the three branches of government, it's 50-50 whether he would know. If you ask them what the responsibilities of those three branches are, is 0% chance. This guy does not know how our government functions, and he doesn't care. He just wants everybody to do what he's saying. So now when they're asked, when he's asked questions about like the legal authority and where he's getting that legal authority or what he's going to do, or can he send in the Marines, he does what Trump always does and answers, "I am Lord and Savior," and all of you get down on your knees, and then like most of you do.
Even if you don't plan to invoke the Insurrection Act, do you plan to send troops to Los Angeles?
What?
Even if you're not planning to invoke the Insurrection Act, do you still plan to send troops?
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart.
We're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. Let what happen to our country? We're at historic lows on crime. What's happening to our country? I would like any of you guys to tell me what's happening to this country. What's the part that what problem is he solving right now? What problem are these immigration raids solving? Is it going to stop violent crime? Mm-mm. Is it going to stop the flow of fentanyl? No. It's just going to cause more jobs to be open. That's about it. What are we defending? Like, what's he saving us from? Just brown people in general? Got real quiet from the MAGA here. What's he saving us from? What problem is he solving here? Anything? It will stop violent crime. Doesn't seem like it. How come most of these people aren't violent criminals?
Like it was under Biden and his auto pen.
And the auto pen. You don't respect Trump. You absolutely fucking worship him. And you absolutely choose Trump over Jesus Christ. Fuck off, Janet. Fuck all the way off. Jesus would hate Trump. You don't worship Jesus. If you worship Jesus, you wouldn't be trying to run immigrants out of the country right now. You wouldn't be supporting this. Fuck all the way off. You worship Trump and you hide behind Jesus. That's what you do. You're just a bigot. And you think that having that cross all over your house and go to church and dropping money in a plate at church makes you a Christian, but it doesn't. You're just a bigot with an excuse. And your excuse is wildly Jesus. A homeless vagabond communist who said sell all your possessions and give it to the poor. And you're like, these fucking liberals are trying to make us give money to the poor. Fuck off, Janet. Why does your name have to be Janet? I feel bad telling somebody named Janet to fuck off, but you got to fuck off. That's so stupid.
For sending Marines to
as far as what I think it is, I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
sending African Marines on the table, sir. Secretary Hegseth.
We're going to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
Yeah, I don't think Jesus would be. I don't think Jesus would be pro-life in the way that you guys are either. I don't think he would force 9-year-olds to carry their rapist babies. I don't think Jesus would do that. You guys legit. You think Jesus would be like, yeah, let's make that 9-year-old carry a baby?
Thanks for the sub.
I think that's what he's all powerful. I don't know why he doesn't just stop that crime from happening. Why doesn't he just prevent the 9-year-old from being from getting pregnant? You know, he works in mysterious ways, doesn't he? By the way, where's the abortion stuff in the Bible? It's ironic. Jesus spent the whole New Testament telling you to love people and take care of the poor, and you got to dig through like fucking Deuteronomy to find a scripture about abortion. How come all of the positions that you guys hold, the ones that you care about the most, are like buried in some like obscure Old Testament verse that you have to then like translate to be like, what they're talking about is abortion? But the very obvious stuff about like not worshiping money and loving each other and taking care of immigrants and taking care of poor people and taking care of the unhoused, all those things that he says like 100 fucking times in the Bible, you guys miss that. But you're like, and Deuteronomy 7:6, it kind of a little bit talks about abortion. And so that's what I'm going to focus entirely on. My whole personality is going to be wrapped up in worrying about what other people do and not taking care of poor people. I'm too busy monitoring your genitals to take care of poor people. I'm too busy worrying about what you're packing under there to help out the unhoused. I can't love everybody if you guys are pushing your wieners together and you got two guys kissing each other on the mouth. How could I possibly think about taking care of people who need help? I mean, I got two guys kissing each other right on the mouth. What am I going to do about that? You guys are just like fucking perverts, honestly. I don't remember the part of the Bible that was like, spend all day worrying about what people do with their genitals and don't help poor people. I might have missed that verse. Maybe that's in Leviticus. I always forget the Old Testament because you're supposed to forget it. If you're a Christian, you're not really supposed to focus on that one. All right. Let me get down here. This is the part I want to get. So, as a reminder, Congress has oversight on detention centers. The reason that the president has authority with ICE is not because it was constitutionally granted. We gave the president a bunch of authority after 9/11. And we basically said, like, you need to be able to act quickly, and we have these departments, and you can staff these departments like ICE, Homeland Security. But because we're giving you this extra power, Congress has oversight, and you cannot deny Congress oversight to any of these detention facilities. It's their job to make sure that the president is acting in accordance with our laws. So this is Maxine Waters, who cannot be told no, who can go visit this detention center any time of day. Whenever she wants, as a member of Congress, Maxine Waters has congressional, constitutional oversight over these ICE detention centers. Unless you're MAGA, in which case you worship Donald Trump, so fuck Maxine Waters, right?
Congresswoman Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority.
Ma'am, our lobby is secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
That man should be thrown in jail. That is against the law. That is unconstitutional. Maxine Waters has every right to go into that building whenever the fuck she wants to. That's congressionally mandated. And look at the MAGA in the chat now. Now they're just going to talk shit about Maxine Waters. Because one thing that you have to remember about MAGA is they don't give a flying fuck about law and order or the Constitution. They are brainwashed lunatics who have been convinced that everybody on the left is evil, and so you don't have to follow the law for the people on the left because they're the bad guys and we're the good guys. So even though Maxine Waters has every right to be in that building, and that man has no right to shut her out, you're going to defend the man who is breaking the law. Fuck all the way off with your, it's law and order, we care about the law. No, you fucking don't. You worship Donald Trump. You wake up, you put his dick in your mouth, and you go about your day sucking on that dick. And you know what? Given his advanced age and his catheter, it's never going to get hard either. You're just going to have a fleshy man meat that's probably smelly because of the diapers in your mouth all day. And you're not even going to get the pleasure of him telling you it feels good because he feels nothing down there. And that's how you wake up every day. And you're like, fuck the Constitution. She gets to be there. That's how this works. You don't get to close the door on her, but you do because Donald Trump
tried to get inside to talk to the president of SEIU. He was detained. She could not get in. The door indeed was slammed in her face. And then here's what she said about the militarization she's seeing here in downtown Los Angeles.
I don't know why we have guns. What are those guns for? Are they to shoot protesters? I mean, there's no reason to be here with the National Guard. The President of the United States is cruel, this honorable human being who would just assume they shoot somebody down. But
Yeah, exactly, Benny. They cherry pick laws like they cherry pick the Bible. It's all fealty to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is above all. We do not care about law. We do not care about the Constitution. That's why we don't take you guys seriously anymore. Nobody takes you seriously. You're all just a bunch of fucking cucks. Every one of you, just sitting in the corner, jacking off together, telling Donald Trump he's doing great. Johnny said, Jesus said nothing about LGBTQ or abortion. There are over 400 mentions of how to treat the alien, stranger, immigrant in the Bible, and you're not following them. Facts. Burns said, for fuck's sakes, they sad boys. They are sad boys.
I don't want that to happen. I want the elected officials to do everything that we can to dissuade them.
Yeah. All right. So not only did they deny a member of Congress her authority of oversight, then it gets even more sick. This is Norma Torres. She also attempted to enter this facility, which, again, she has the congressional authority to do so, and nobody can tell her no. None of those guards can tell her no, and she tries to.
Hi, it's Congresswoman Norma Torres, and I am not sure if ICE here at the building where we are, the side door has deployed some kind of chemical agent, because suddenly we are all coughing and unable, having a very tough time breathing. So
now when people try and follow the Constitution and use their congressionally appropriated powers and their oversight, that is, by the way, that oversight exists so that we don't have like a fascist takeover. And we got all these fucking incels in here now going, oh, this is so funny. It's so funny when our government takes over the government. It's so funny. Cucks. All of you. All of you are just cucks. You love big government. You love Daddy Trump. You love licking those boots. You just show up every day and lick the boots. He's telling everybody that he gets to do what he wants, and what he's doing is he's arresting brown people, and we love it. We're gassing members of Congress. We're gassing them. These are direct attacks on members of Congress. This is why we say you're sick. This is why we say you're cucks. It's also why you all sit behind screen names. You're bitches. All of you. Also what? We get to deport some more brown people. Gassing members of Congress who are just trying to make sure that we're not torturing people. Yeah, why are we checking to see if they're torturing people? The government should be able to torture people, and we shouldn't know about it. We shouldn't have oversight on that. They should be able to torture people. Cucks, bootlickers, bitches.
this is how ICE is responding to members of Congress by deploying chemical agents to prevent us from doing our job.
Then you know who else we hate? We also hate the media. Fuck the media, right? This is, let me find this one. I'm kind of bouncing around because we're running out of time. This is Australian TV reporter Lauren Tomasi. I watched this 20 times. I can't believe this happened. She's just down here in LA. She's reporting. Obviously, there's a camera crew there. She's not causing any problems. Here's the police behind her. She's reporting on the fact that police are now using like riot gear and rubber bullets and tear gas to move people out.
Rubber bullets of protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shot the.
And they shot her with a rubber bullet. And I want to show you something. Let's see if we can show this. It's this guy right here. Okay, this guy right here. He's looking away. He's looking down the street. We'll do this in slow motion. He now turns. I know it's kind of hard to see. You'll see his face mask turn. And he sees a journalist here. And he takes aim at a journalist and a cameraman and shoots her in the leg. Cool? Cool with that? We're just shooting journalists now? Cool? Yeah. That's why our country's a fucking joke. That's why everybody thinks we're a joke. If that happened to one of our journalists in another country, like, you would all be raising hell. If that was Charlie Kirk, oh my God, can you imagine these bitches that have been yelling at me in the chat all day? Can you imagine these bitch-made titty milk boys being like, you guys shot Charlie Kirk. You guys don't like free speech. You shot Charlie Kirk. We'd hear about it. It would be like already Pam Bondi would have the FBI at the door of whoever that person was. They'd be hunted down. Their picture would be all over the news. I've never seen I've never seen such a group of bitches be like have so much power. Like, you guys are just all scared together. So you huddle together closely and you're like, we're not scared. They're the ones that are scared. She's reporting on something. We better shoot her with rubber bullets. And again, like, where's the Republicans in here that are like, hey, that's not okay? Do we have Republicans in here that are willing to say this isn't okay? Where's Drew? Did Drew leave? Is this okay, Drew? Yeah, I think that's LAPD. I'm pretty sure that's LAPD. This was before National Guard was deployed. And National Guard is not supposed to be using any weapons. They are actually only supposed to be allowed to do like crowd control. They're not supposed to do any sort of law enforcement. So I would imagine that it's LAPD. You want me to go back 10 seconds? Well, the whole clip's 10 seconds. What do you want me to see? I can't hold it. Yeah, I can't hold a candle to Charlie Kirk. I didn't go to Oxford and get my dick kicked in. I don't run from Parker. I don't lose every televised debate that I'm ever on that isn't just like a random college kid. Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk there are better debaters in this country than me on the left, and I would destroy Charlie Kirk. And everybody knows that. Everybody who's ever watched me or Charlie Kirk debate knows that I would beat Charlie Kirk in a substantive debate. If we were gonna do like petty shit like Charlie Kirk always argues, like, if Charlie Kirk might win. Charlie Kirk, when he is stuck debating something with substance, he's absolutely fucked, especially when he can't get people worked up with his little insults. Remember the beginning of this? I guess some of you guys weren't here. This is why I'm smarter than Charlie Kirk. Just show you how the show kicked off today. I wouldn't ever post something this fucking stupid because I can do math. High school dropout Charlie Kirk here, who always talks about how smart he is because he didn't go to college.
You know that 45% of liberals have poor mental health when 51% of conservatives have excellent mental health?
Hey, Charlie, the math is not mathing, my friend. 45% of liberals have poor mental health, meaning 55% of liberals have good mental health. 51% of...
Okay, so you got to add it up to 100%. So a minority of liberals.
Conservatives have good mental health, meaning 49% of conservatives have poor mental health, meaning more liberals have good mental health than conservatives, you fuckwit.
Yeah, fuckwit. He can't do math. Charlie Kirk's a fucking moron. And look, with all due respect, he's good at what he does, but he's a liar and he's stupid. And I don't trust that any of you would understand what a good argument is. Because I think that if you are a person who follows Charlie Kirk, chances are, no matter what is said, you are always going to believe Charlie Kirk won that debate. If you watched Charlie Kirk at Oxford and you think he did well, you're too dumb to assess it. But if you watch that debate with Oxford and you're just like open-minded, you know who won that debate. It was embarrassingly bad. Like if you go watch him debate Sam Cedar while Sam Cedar talks to him about Glass-Steagall, and Charlie Kirk clearly has no idea what Glass-Steagall is, which none of you guys know either. Charlie Kirk, every time he gets cornered, he just goes, define a woman, just like all of you guys. Charlie Kirk is a dumb guy that talks to dumb guys, and dumb guys are generally usually like very, very confident, and your confidence carries you through that whole thing. Not facts. Nobody takes Charlie Kirk seriously outside of mainstream MAGA. He's just another bootlicker whose only job is to suck Trump's dick, which is why you guys like him. If he ever started talking bad about Trump, you'd all abandon him immediately, and you'd be like, he's actually pretty dumb. He just says the things that you like, so you think he's smart. And you think you're smart, which is why none of you will come up here and debate this. Charlie Kirk will probably get a chance to debate me at some point. I think that'll happen. Just given like the growth of this channel and the growth of like my other social medias, he'll have that opportunity at some point. And I think it won't go well for Charlie Kirk, just like it never goes well for Charlie Kirk. It's very rare that Charlie Kirk wins a debate. It's always like Cambridge. What'd I say? Oxford? Yeah, Cambridge. Sorry. Cambridge, not Oxford. Thank you. I'm going to start over a little over. All right, let me just get the rest of there was a couple more I wanted to show before we get out of here. I wanted to show this. This is from LAPD. And there was a lot of criticism at Gavin Newsom for LAPD's slow response. Listen to LAPD explain why their response was slow.
LAPD was not given advance notice that the federal operations would occur in that area. As a result, we were not pre-positioned to respond immediately to unrest related to those actions. Once the call for assistance came in, LAPD responded within 38 minutes. And that sounds like a long time, but I'll tell you why that is. The response was impacted by traffic, crowd density in the area with unrest occurring, hazardous conditions caused by tear gas that was previously deployed by federal agents at the LAPD.
Yeah. What happened? Why was LAPD slow? LAPD slow? Because ICE is incompetent. Because they're escalating everything. So LAPD couldn't even get in there and do their job because ICE is a bunch of little bitches, and they get their feelings hurt, and then they use force because they don't know how to deal with people protesting them. 700 Marines deployed. Jen just sent me. What is this? Tensions escalating in LA as protests against immigration and custom. President Trump deployed 2,000 National Guardsmen to address the lawlessness. 700 Marines in California have been ordered to assist in Los Angeles, and they're expected to arrive in the next 24 hours. The Marines are from the 2nd Battalion. Minutes before the Marines deployment, Trump was asked by ABC News if he planned on sending Marines to LA, and he said, "We'll see what happens." So I think, if I remember right, there's 500 that were already stationed there. So I don't know where the 700 is coming from. He said that if protesters spit in the faces of National Guardsmen, they'll be hit harder than they've been hit before. If they spit, we'll hit. Jesus Christ. What'd you say?
National Guard. National Guard, they originally asked for 2,000 or whatever. But then, sorry, I had an AirPod in. But then now he's asking for Marines to go in. So there's supposed to be 700 Marines.
Well, I know, but I think there was 500 that were there. They're always there. There's always 500 there. So I'm just curious where the 700 came from, because I had heard before we went live that there were 500. So I don't know where the extra 200 are coming from. Because my understanding is the 2nd Battalion has 500 people.
I didn't see anything about the Marines being deployed, or I hadn't seen anything on that one yet.
Okay. Aaron Parnas is saying 5. Oh, yeah, wouldn't be. Okay, so maybe Trump just said 700. This is crazy, though. Like, if they spit, we will hit. Like, this is what I'm talking about with Trump. Like, it's always escalating. Trump is demanding that, like, everybody do exactly what he says, or that they'll break the law. By the way, are we going to just address the fact that this is our military we're talking about now, attacking our people when the state of California says they don't need it? Gavin Newsom says we're good. All of it, we weren't even violent until ICE showed up and then the National Guard showed up. Like, this is him just creating this. And look what he says. I told you they're going to start using this word more and more. Where was it? It was up here. He said insurrection. Where did I just see it? Where did I just see Oh, there it is. The insurrectionists have a tendency to spit in the face of the National Guardsmen and women and others. These patriots are told to accept this. It's just the way life runs, but not in the Trump administration. He's labeling them insurrectionists, and he's saying military, go ahead.
We've got a new subscriber.
Just turning your people against your own people. This is the constitutional crisis now we've got to address. The United States military is not to be turned against its own people. Unless they're like part of an insurrection, unless they're part of a takeover. They're not doing that. Nobody's trying to take over the government. They're standing in the way of ICE deporting people, and that's it. Trump deployed 2,000 National Guard, but only 300 showed up. Well, I'm assuming some are on standby. Jesus. Oh, God. Again, like the crazy part about this is this isn't like a deploy the military. This isn't something you would deploy the military for. Like none of this comes even close to the violence that happened on January 6th. It's nowhere close to that. Trump wouldn't deploy the military on January 6th, but he'll deploy it now. I don't know what. You know what, FOD? Like I fucking hate saying this. I fucking hate that I agree with you. This has been part of the plan to declare martial law. When those rumors came out about them like not having declaring martial law and not having elections, how's that election looking in next year? Doesn't look very good for Trump, does it? So what do you do? If you want to declare martial law, what do you do if you want to delay that? You suddenly, for no reason, send ICE into downtown LA. You go to places that are considered sanctuary cities, and you start overstepping your bounds. And you piss off the people. And then the people right now, where's all our Second Amendment folks? Isn't this why you guys have guns? Because for a tyrannical government who doesn't listen to the will of the people? The will of the people in California are saying, get the fuck out of here. And then where are you on states' rights? Aren't you states' rights people? This is what I'm saying. That lady that said, like, we worship Jesus. No, you don't. You worship Donald Trump. You don't give a fuck about states' rights. You don't give a fuck about free speech, the freedom to assemble. You don't give a fuck about like what the role of each branch of government when Congress has oversight over these detention facilities and they can't go in. How the fuck is this not a government like a hostile takeover? How the fuck is this not authoritarianism? How the fuck is this not fascism? Congress can do nothing. Trump told the courts no. And he's telling Congress to get out of the way. And you guys are cheerleading it. This is why we were worried about like the cult of personality. This is why we called it a cult of personality. This is why it makes me nervous. And I'll say this, hopefully some of my friends hear this. But this is why it makes me nervous when I go to a friend's house and they're flying a Trump flag. Makes me nervous. Because, like, we're not supposed to be loyal to politicians here. We're not supposed to celebrate politicians like that. And it's weird. You know, most of my friends have more Trump gear than America gear. Same people walked around with like a fuck Joe Biden shirt for 4 years. What the fuck do you guys stand for? It's not states' rights. It's not freedom of speech. It's not freedom of assembly. It's not freedom against a tyrannical government. What do you believe in if it's not Trump? What are the things that matter to you? Is it it's not due process. What do you believe in? Just like that immigrants are bad? Is that it? You just believe that illegal immigration is so bad that we get to suspend all of our other rights? Look what happened in Israel. Look what happened when Netanyahu got in trouble. Trump's about to commit crimes. Trump's about to break the Constitution. Like this is obviously unconstitutional. How do you avoid that if you're Trump? Well, one, you have a Supreme Court who rules that you can't commit crimes when you're president. And two, you declare martial law. We are at historic lows for violent crime. And you're letting this guy take over the country. This is a lie. This is not a crisis. It is not a it is not a crisis of safety. It is not an insurrection. It is not an invasion. It's just people that you don't like and laws that you won't fix. And it's not hurting you. You're not being affected by it. In fact, getting rid of immigrants that are here working is going to hurt you. You're throwing away 250 years of democracy for Donald fucking Trump. Can you imagine? Donald fucking Trump. The spoon-fed titty baby who bankrupted his dad's company, bankrupted all of his companies, was on reality TV for being an asshole, for 30-plus documented accusations of sexual assault, including that of minors. Walking into changing rooms of teenage girls, his own daughter calling him a sex predator. Quote after quote after quote of talking about the physical appearance of his daughter's boobs and legs when they're underage. And then has a fucking insurrection where he doesn't call in the National Guard. And you guys spend 4 years being like, oh, there was nothing he could do. That was Nancy Pelosi's fault. And then all of a sudden, he just has the authority. Oh, fuck, where'd that come from? Oh, we just rewrote the Constitution fucking yesterday? Suddenly, Trump has the ability to call in the National Guard without previous authorization from the Speaker of the House or the mayor of Los Angeles. Suddenly, everything we said was right. Are you going to go back on that? Fuck no, you're not going to go back on that. Because you worship Donald fucking Trump. I don't want to hear shit about it. I don't want to hear shit about it from any of you at all anymore. You overlooked him doing this you overlooked him trying to overthrow our government by saying it wasn't his fault. And now he's doing the very thing you all claimed he couldn't do to overthrow California, to declare martial law. And when he declares martial law, you bitches are going to be bitches. Oh, well, he had to do it. You're just going to go along. You're going to bootlick our way into fascism. Fascism, like the road to fascism is littered with bitches. And that's you. You're the bitches. You're the brown shirts. You're the Nazis. That's who you are. And then the thing about Nazis is most of them weren't at the concentration camps. Most of them were little bitches sitting at home watching it happen, going, oh, well, I'm German, so it's okay. I'll just be at home and be a little bitch. And then when it came time for the Nazis to pay the price for being bitches, they all ran, and you guys will run too. They all ran to Argentina. They ran to America. They ran here, and they ran to places where, like, conservative states. Why? Well, because conservatives, they didn't like the Jewish folks either. So it was fine. It's all of you. World history is littered by bitch-ass strongmen who aren't strong, who don't fight, who let soldiers do all of their fighting, and they try and take over. And they do it by bullying bitches, and that's you. You're bitches. That's why Trump was a Democrat forever, and nobody would ever vote for him. He's been trying to run for president since like the 80s. And he didn't get to run for president until he became a Republican. Why? Bitches. You. Full of bitches. You're all just, you just let him do it. You just let him run over the whole party. You know what? We're really tough. A true alpha male is when the president says something and you just do it. That's a true alpha male. You've all been conditioned into thinking that Donald Trump is like peak masculinity and he turned you all into bitches. I can't believe our Constitution is going to be undone by bitches, like uneducated, overconfident bitches. And you're going to let Donald Trump draft dodging, shit his pants, whiny titty baby Donald Trump. You're going to let him be your leader? For all those books, what happened to all those books you read about masculinity and about leading the family? And you just have the most litigious human being on earth. That's who you get. I'm going to sue you. That's who you chose as your leader, the I'm going to sue you guy, the I've never been in a fight guy, the I've run from every fight guy, the I hang out with every sex criminal that we know has a picture with Donald Trump, every famous one. And you're going to go like, I'm suing you, fucking Karen. Karen undid the Constitution. Wakes up in the morning, parts his bald ass head, like takes that side weave and covers his bald ass head for 40 fucking minutes. It takes him 40 minutes to do his hair and makeup every day. Paints his fucking face orange every day. That guy is going to undo the Constitution, and you're like, America, brother. Can you imagine George Washington just being like, that guy? You're going to let that guy do it? Abraham Lincoln? Fucking that guy? How is it? How do we fight all these wars and that guy's going to undo it? You guys are, yo, dude, this is peak masculinity. Get fucked. I don't know, man. I don't know. Tomorrow's going to be a shit show. Today's going to be a shit show. I have no good advice. I have no good thoughts to even end this stream. I have no fucking clue what to do right now. I'm absolutely lost. This guy's a fucking psycho. It's obvious to everybody. The whole world sees it. It's just not you. And I think it's just pride. I think it's just like, I don't want to admit that I was duped. This is tough to watch. It's tough to watch you guys be this cucked. Let me read comments. I'll get out of here. Mostly peaceful rights for tissues. Thanks. Appreciate that. Raina said to help with the goal. Thank you, Raina. Did I read Paul's? I don't think so. Paul said, if we could monetize Republican stupidity, we could pay off the national debt. We'd try. We'd monetize it, and then once we got enough money to pay off the national debt, Republicans would just cut our taxes and make poor people pay for it instead. They got to keep that national debt going. All right, listen, fuck all you pussy MAGA boys that are here, you little titty milk bitch boys. Fuck all of you. Enjoy the rest of your day bootlicking. To our friends that are in Los Angeles that are out there protesting, good for you. Look, don't give up the fight, but like, don't stop calling MAGA for the rest of the day. Don't stop calling them bootlicking bitches, because that's exactly what they are. Every fucking person you know who told you that Nancy Pelosi didn't send in the National Guard, get their phone number and you call them and you ask them how the fuck all of a sudden Trump got this authority to call in the National Guard without Nancy Pelosi. Just ask them. Ask them how the fuck we have Marines now. Couldn't do it when it was in D.C. when a bunch of people in his gear showed up with his flags and beat the shit out of police officers. At that point, the president didn't have the authority. But now suddenly he's got the authority to go to California and do this shit. Just ask him. Don't let him sleep. Don't let him go. Don't let him talk without interrupting them. Every last one of them. Make them answer that question today. Ask them why they are bootlicking bitches for the rest of the day. I just have to end angry. I can't even end happy. Fuck MAGA. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck all you cucked out bitches that are still following this guy. I'll see you tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time here on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. MAGA, go fuck yourselves. Have a good day.